Chapter 3368. Looking for someone in the Amethyst Fog Sea, around the secret realm of heaven and earth, many sergeants of the patrol team and experts of the Xiaoyao mansion were waiting quietly. Suddenly the void rippled and a space passage appeared out of thin air. Then two figures stepped out of the space passage one after another. Jian Wushuang was fine when he saw the two figures, but when the people around him saw Demon Master Chenhua, they were all shocked, especially the principal's masters who had entered the secret realm of heaven and earth. Previously in the secret realm of heaven and earth, they were completely shocked by the monstrous strength displayed by Demon Master Chenhua. They were all filled with fear towards him. Now, seeing that Demon Master Chenhua had actually walked out of the secret realm of heaven and earth, they naturally could not calm down. Jian Wushuang saw the gazes of the surrounding people and immediately smiled. Everyone, don't be too nervous. Demon Master Chenhua is now one of us. One of us. Everyone was stunned. Jian Wushuang did not explain too much. Instead, he looked directly at Marquis Xiaoyao who was beside him. Marquis Xiaoyao, we were wrong. There are no opportunities or treasures in the secret land of heaven and earth, and our temporal temple did not get anything. Naturally, your trip to the Xiaoyao mansion will be in vain. Marquis Xiaoyao's expression changed. He took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and then looked at Demon Master Chenhua. Although he knew it was not that simple, he did not intend to pursue the matter any further. Let's go. Marquis Xiaoyao waved his hand and left with the people of Xiaoyao mansion. After the people of Xiaoyao mansion left, Duanlang Yu, this is for you. Take it and divide it among yourselves. Jian Wushuang took out an interspatial ring and handed it to Duanlang. Duanlang and Yu looked at each other in bewilderment. Brother Heavenly Marquis, didn't you say that you didn't get the opportunity treasure left by the Amethyst demon sect in the secret realm? Duanlang asked. No, but I did get something else. It's not a small gain. As the people who discovered the secret realm, you deserve it, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. It was true that he did not get the opportunity treasure left by the Amethyst demon sect in the secret realm, but he did get a helper at the peak of the 6 void realms, which was more than enough for him. It was much more valuable than obtaining a lot of resources and treasures. Zhen Tong. Jian Wushuang looked at Zhen Tong master who was beside him. Now that I know what happened in the Amethyst Fog Sea, he'll let you lead the patrol team back to the camp. As for me, I still have some private matters to deal with in the second heaven. I'll come back when I'm done. Yes. Zhen Tong master nodded respectfully. Although the patrol ambassadors were the leaders of the patrol teams, they were usually quite relaxed because they rarely went out on missions. Now, Jian Wushuang had to deal with some private matters in the second heaven. He was allowed to do so, as long as he could come back in time when the mission was given. Just like that, after leaving the Amethyst Fog Sea, they parted ways. Zhen Tong master led the patrol team back to the camp, while Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua stayed in the second heaven. Above the vast void, Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua flew slowly. Demon Master Chenhua, I have reported your matter to Temple Master Bai Xing of the Temporal Temple. Temple Master Bai Xing has promised you a position of worship. In addition, Temple Master Bai Xing has also instructed the intelligence department of the Temporal Temple to look for the experts left behind by the Amethyst demon sect. However, we can't be sure how long it will take to find them, Jian Wushuang said. Yes. Demon Master Chenhua nodded slightly, then said, From today on, I'm your guard. You don't have to call me Demon Master Chenhua anymore. Just call me Chenhua. Chenhua? Sure. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. Heavenly Sword Marquis, where do you want to go now? Demon Master Chenhua asked. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. You'll know when we get there. Jian Wushuang kept him guessing. Demon Master Chenhua did not ask further. He followed Jian Wushuang forward. During this time, Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua teleported several times and arrived at an even faster speed. Just a day later, they arrived at their destination. It was a grand canyon surrounded by mountains. There were towering peaks around it. At a glance, there seemed to be no less than dozens of them. However, these peaks were arranged in a unique way. The surrounding canyon was completely covered. The peaks and the canyon were connected to the magic array in a special way, making it look like a whole. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua stood in the void near the canyon. They looked down at the canyon, but because of the restrictive magic array, even they could not see the inside of the canyon. If I remember correctly, this place should be the supreme emotion-forgetting valley, right? Demon Master Chenhua looked at Jian Wushuang. Chenhua, you've been alone in the secret land of heaven and earth for nearly 200 million years. You almost forgot your own name, but you can still recognize this sect's lair. It's rare, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Nonsense. I was an elder of the Amethyst Demon Sect, and the Amethyst Demon Sect is one of the overlords of the second heaven. Of course, I pay attention to the other overlords and some top forces in the second heaven, especially the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. It's the only existence in the second heaven that even the Amethyst Demon Sect fears. Moreover, when I was young, I had dealings with the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. I've been to the mountain gate of the valley a few times, so of course I remember it, Demon Master Chenhua said. Is that so? Jian Wushuang understood. But I've been in the secret land of heaven and earth for too long. I wonder what has happened to the valley. Who is the current valley master? Demon Master Chenhua asked. The current valley master of the valley is called Longyu, Jian Wushuang said. He had already gotten some information about the valley from the temporal temple. He knew about the valley master and some experts of the valley. He had a good understanding of them. Longyu? It's this overbearing woman? Demon Master Chenhua raised his eyebrows. Apparently, he knew the current valley master of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. By the way, Heavenly Sword Marquis, what are you doing in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley? Demon Master Chenhua asked. Looking for someone, Jian Wushuang said. Looking for someone? Oh. Demon Master Chenhua asked. My wife Lung Rushuang. Jian Wushuang said. Wife? Demon Master Chenhua was stunned. Jian Wushuang did not hide anything and simply told Demon Master Chenhua about his wife. Chapter 3369. Was finally here, Heavenly Sword Marquis. Are you saying that your wife was brought here many years ago by the people of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley because she is suitable to cultivate the supreme divine skill of the valley? Demon Master Chenhua looked at Jian Wushuang. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. That's not right, is it? Demon Master Chenhua frowned. Most of the secret skills in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley require one to abandon emotion. As for the supreme skill, it is said that only those who are absolutely pure in heart and have not been touched by the secular world are qualified to cultivate it. If the person you are looking for is really your wife, how could she not be touched by the secular world and have no emotion at all? She is indeed my wife, but she is from my previous life. When we entered the reincarnation passage at the same time, my memory of my previous life was not affected at all. However, her memory seems to have disappeared, so she doesn't know who I am in this life, Jian Wushuang said. Is that so? Demon Master Chenhua raised his eyebrows and then said, Heavenly Sword Marquis, if we do as you say, this matter will be troublesome. First of all, your wife has lost her memory of her previous life, so she can't recognize you at all. Moreover, since she has already come to the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley to cultivate the divine skill, it's fine if she hasn't made any progress or achievements in the divine skill, but once she has cultivated the divine skill to a certain level, she won't have any feelings at all. At this point, even if she has restored her memory of her previous life, I'm afraid it won't be of any use. No. That's why I cultivated to this level as soon as possible and came here to ask for her right after I had a certain level of strength, Jian Wushuang said in a deep voice. He had been very worried. He was worried that if his wife cultivated the divine skill to a certain level and completely abandoned all emotions, her memories from her previous life would never be found again, and even if they were found, they would be immediately discarded. That was why he had seized every opportunity to increase his strength. He wanted to reach the point where he could face the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley head-on as soon as possible. But now he had already reached this step. Heavenly Sword Marquis, what do you plan to do? Demon Master Chenhua looked over. First of all, I have to remind you that although the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley is only an overlord of the second heaven, it is different from other sects of the second heaven. The Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley has a very deep foundation, and there has always been an extremely terrifying old monster hiding there. It is very difficult to provoke. Of course, Jian Wushuang knew who the old monster was. It was the old valley master in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley who had mastered the supreme divine skill. Jian Wushuang now knew more about the old valley master. Moreover, he had heard from Temple Master Bai Xing that once the old valley master went crazy, even experts at the level of the 3 Saint Realm Masters and Temporal Temple Master would have a headache. Don't worry, I know my own strength. I won't be so stupid as to go to the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley and take my wife away. However, with my current strength and status, the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley won't dare to look down on me. I can pay a visit to the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley first and see if there are any other ways for me to take my wife away. No matter what they offer, I can agree to it. But if Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley doesn't give me any chance to negotiate, then it's not my fault. Jian Wushuang's eyes were shining with a fierce light. Upon hearing this, Demon Master Chen Hua narrowed his eyes slightly but did not say anything more. Let's go down. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chen Hua descended directly toward the entrance of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. As soon as Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chen Hua landed on the open space at the entrance of the valley, several disciples of the valley immediately went up to greet them. Most of the disciples of the valley were women. The female disciple in the lead asked, "Who are you and why are you here? Please go in and inform them that the 6th Inspector of the Temporal Temple, Heavenly Sword Marquis, is here to pay a visit," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Heavenly Sword Marquis? The female disciple immediately raised her head and looked at Jian Wushuang in shock. Jian Wushuang was too famous now. From the high and mighty principles masters to the ordinary cultivators in the divine beginning realm, most of them had heard of his name. As for the disciples of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, they naturally knew of Jian Wushuang. When they learned that the immortal saint was the famous Heavenly Sword Marquis, the disciples were shocked, but the female disciple quickly calmed down. "Please wait a moment, Illinois, go in and report immediately." The female disciple rushed into the valley as fast as she could. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chen Hua were not in a hurry. They waited quietly at the entrance of the valley. In a quiet attic in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, Longyu, the Valley Master of the valley, was living there. At this moment, Heavenly Sword Marquis? If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Dressed in a plain robe, Longyu stood up with a cold expression. "Did you really see him? Is he really here to visit?" "I didn't see him myself. I came to see you as soon as I received the report. But now, Heavenly Sword Marquis is very famous in the divine beginning realm. Besides, almost all the sects and forces have seen the mirror image of the collision between Heavenly Sword Marquis and the 3 Saint Realms. They all know what he looks like. Therefore there should be no one pretending to be him." Standing in front of Longyu was a black-clothed woman. The black-clothed woman was an elder of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, and she was also a principal's master. What should have come has come. Longyu narrowed her eyes slightly. "Valley Master, which one is Heavenly Sword Marquis coming for?" the black-clothed woman asked. "Who else can it be for?" Longyu glanced at the black-clothed woman and sighed inwardly. She had long known that Jian Wushuang would come to her one day. Jian Wushuang had saved the genius disciple Han Xian in the Blood Wave realm. Later he asked her about Lung Rushuang, which alerted her. When she returned to the valley, Han Xian reported the matter to Longyu, who immediately ordered people to investigate. As the mirror image of Jian Wushuang fighting with the 3 Saint Realms spread in the divine beginning realm, the principal's master who had taken Leng Rushuang away in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley recognized Jian Wushuang at a glance. Back in the Golden Crow 9 realms, Jian Wushuang had revealed his life-level pressure and summoned the power of the will of heaven to suppress Leng Rushuang in order to prevent the people of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley from taking her away. Immediately after, countless experts from the 3 Saint Realms descended. The Rule Master had witnessed all of this and he had always remembered Jian Wushuang. Therefore, when he saw the mirror image of Jian Wushuang again, he immediately confirmed Jian Wushuang's identity. Chapter 3370. Closed the door and disappeared. When our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley brought that person back, we were stopped by this Heavenly Sword Marquis. However, at that time he was too weak and was not even a saint. He was not even in our eyes. Who would have thought that in less than 1,000 years, this Heavenly Sword Marquis' strength had improved to the point that even our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley had to pay attention to him. Also, he has an extraordinary status in the Temporal Temple. I heard that even the Temporal Temple Master thinks highly of him. Valley Master Longyu narrowed her eyes slightly. Jian Wushuang's growth speed was indeed beyond their imagination. But now that Jian Wushuang had come to visit her, it was a headache for her. Valley Master, Heavenly Sword Marquis is outside the valley, and he came to visit openly. Are we going to meet him or not? The black-clothed woman asked. No. Longyu waved her hand. We know his purpose, so we can't let him in. Otherwise, with his character and strength, if he goes crazy in our valley won't be able to bear the consequences. You tell him that we have some internal affairs to deal with, and we have to close our doors and refuse visitors. Later, Longyu will visit him personally. Understood. The black-clothed woman nodded and rushed out of the valley. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chen Hua were still waiting in the open space at the entrance of the valley. Finally, the black-clothed woman walked out. Elder Ling Yi of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley greets Mr. Heavenly Sword Marquis. May I know who this is? The black-clothed woman bowed to Jian Wushuang humbly and then looked at Demon Master Qinhua. The black-clothed woman was also a principal's master. Although she was not strong, she could still feel the invisible pressure brought by Demon Master Qinhua. She could tell that Demon Master Qinhua was not weak. "This is my guard. As for his name, I won't mention it," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. "Guard?" The black-clothed woman was shocked, and her mind was full of thoughts. Although the old man beside Heavenly Sword Marquis did not emit any aura from the pressure he gave me, he must be at least an expert of the third or fourth realm of the void. How could such an expert be willing to be his guard? It seems that the temporal temple places more importance on him than I expected. "Elder Ling Yi, we came here specially to visit. May we go in now?" Jian Wushuang asked. "I'm sorry, but I have to deal with some matters in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. I'm in the middle of meeting with the guest, so I can only thank you for your kindness. But don't worry, my Valley Master said that after some time, he will come to apologize to you personally," the black-clothed woman Ling Yi said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang frowned. He wanted to enter the valley first and discuss with the Valley Master and the other high-level officials to see if there was any room for negotiation. Even if the valley offered some harsh conditions, he could accept it. But he did not expect that he would be refused entry. The higher-ups of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley did not see him at all. They only sent Elder Ling Yi to get rid of him. "Elder Ling Yi, I am now the 6th inspector of the Temporal Temple. I represent not only myself, but also the Temporal Temple behind me. This time I specially came to visit the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, but I did not even enter the door. Isn't that a little unreasonable?" Jian Wushuang's eyes were cold. "Humph, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley is still so arrogant. Even the inspector of the Temporal Temple was denied entry." Demon Master Qinhua snorted coldly. "I'm sorry. It's not that I don't know my limits. If there are some private matters in the valley, it's not convenient for outsiders to enter." Elder Ling Yi insisted. "Oh." Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. "How long will it take for the valley to finish the matters?" "I don't know. It may take at least a few years, at most a few hundred years, or even 1,000 years. In short, before the matters in the valley are settled, the valley will not see outsiders. Moreover, the Valley Master has ordered that the mountain gate will be completely sealed immediately," Elder Ling Yi said. Jian Wushuang's expression changed, but then he smiled and said, "In that case, I'll pay you a visit after you've dealt with the internal affairs of your Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley." After saying that, Jian Wushuang glanced at Demon Master Qinhua and said, "Let's go." The two immediately left. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Seeing them leave, Elder Ling Yi revealed a strange smile and returned to the valley. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Qinhua did not walk far in the void around the valley, but they stopped. "Qinhua, do you think that there are some private matters in the valley that are inconvenient for outsiders to enter?" Jian Wushuang looked at Qinhua. "Of course it must be fake." Demon Master Qinhua smiled. "Think it's fake too?" Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. "If something really happened in the valley, the disciples at the gate would not look so relaxed. Moreover, if the valley really closed the door to visit me, the disciples at the gate would have told me. But when they didn't, the disciple immediately went in to report it. Apparently, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley did not close their doors to me, at least not before I came. But after I came to visit, the people of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley deliberately said that because they did not want me to enter the valley. It's like this." Demon Master Qinhua smiled and said, "The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley obviously knows your purpose of coming here, so they deliberately refused to let you in. But you can't even enter the valley, so how can you take your wife away?" "Humph, they won't let me in. Can I think of another way?" Jian Wushuang snorted. "What way?" Demon Master Qinhua glanced at Jian Wushuang. He immediately said, "Heavenly Sword Marquis, I have to warn you first. Don't think of barging into the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley and taking your wife away by force. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley is not to be trifled with. Moreover, I'm afraid that you can't break the sect-protecting formation of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. It's a bad idea to break into the valley by force. But since they don't want me to enter the valley, can't I find a way to make them come to see me outside the valley?" Jian Wushuang smiled strangely. Chapter 3371. Force them to come out? You mean force them to come out? Demon Master Qinhua asked with a strange look on his face. This is the sect of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. There should be many experts or disciples of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley around the sect. As long as we capture a group of them, There's no need to worry about Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley being in a hurry, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. That's a good idea, but I'm afraid that you won't be able to attract the attention of the highest level of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley just by capturing a few disciples. At the very least, you'll have to capture 1 or 2 principals masters, Demon Master Chenhua said. As long as you capture disciples, are you afraid that you won't attract big fish? Jian Wushuang smiled and said, let's go. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua left. As one of the overlords of the second heaven, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley was superior to the previous Xiaoyao mansion in terms of both strength and foundation. The territory controlled by the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley was also very vast. In one of the restaurants in a bustling city around the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua were sitting by the window. They were looking at a team in the market not far away. The team was made up of women. Judging from their attire, it was obvious that they were from Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Chenhua, it's up to you, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. There are 8 people in total. The strongest one is only a rank 5 true saint. I'm not in the mood to fight such a little guy, Demon Master Chenhua refused directly. This was normal. Demon Master Chenhua was a super expert at the peak of the 6th Void Realm. Such super experts would more or less pay attention to their status. For them, even if they were asked to fight a peak saint or an invincible saint. But now he was asked to fight 8 true saints who were only at the 5th rank. Of course he did not want to. If you don't fight, do you want me to go? Jian Wushuang rolled his eyes at Demon Master Chenhua. He said, I'm now too famous in the divine beginning realm. If I fight, it's hard to guarantee that I won't be recognized. Once the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley knows that I'm the one who's arresting people, let alone sending experts, they might immediately recall all their disciples. Then our plan will not work. It's your plan. It has nothing to do with me. Demon Master Chenhua curled his lips. Forget it. Let it do it. Demon Master Chenhua waved his hand, and a burly figure immediately appeared in front of Jian Wushuang. This is puppet fighter? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. This is a puppet fighter left behind by the Amethyst Demon sect. Although it's not very strong and is only at the level of an ordinary invincible saint, it's more than enough to capture these little guys from the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, Demon Master Chenhua said. A puppet fighter at the level of an invincible saint? A smile appeared on Jian Wushuang's face at the same time he praised, as expected of the Amethyst Demon sect. Its foundation is indeed extraordinary. I'm afraid that in its heyday the Amethyst Demon sect should have even a puppet fighter at the level of a principal's master, right? Demon Master Chenhua snorted and did not answer. He just gave an order to the puppet fighter, go and capture the 8 of you who are wearing the same clothes. Remember, only capture and suppress them alive. Don't kill them. This is a top-tier holy treasure for suppression. Just suppress them inside. Demon Master Chenhua also gave a mini palace to the puppet fighter. Under the order of Demon Master Chenhua, the puppet fighter immediately set off. Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua watched quietly in the restaurant. When they saw the puppet fighter appear in front of the 8 disciples of Forget Love Valley, they immediately attacked without saying anything. They attacked the disciples of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley directly in the city near the gate of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. The 8 disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley were also shocked. They did not expect to be attacked here. They immediately reported to the sect and fought with the puppet fighter. However, in this fight, the invincible Saint puppet fighter swept the 8 disciples away. The 8 disciples wanted to escape, but the invincible Saint puppet fighter took out the mini palace and used its suppressive power. In an instant, all 8 of them were suppressed. After doing all this, the puppet fighter at the level of the invincible saint returned to Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua. Let's go, well, go to the next place to catch them, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Immediately, he and Demon Master Chenhua wandered around the cities around the mountain gate of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Every time they came to a city, they would look for the disciples or experts of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. As soon as they found one, they would immediately have the saint-level puppet fighter take action and suppress it. It had to be said that the strength of the puppet fighter that the Deep Fire Demon Master took out was indeed not bad. It was not inferior to human cultivators at the Invincible Saint realm. In addition, with the help of the top-tier Holy Treasure level suppression type treasure, it was very easy to suppress the disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Even if it encountered a peak saint, it could not escape from this puppet fighter. In just half a day, that Saint Realm puppet fighter had suppressed nearly 40 disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Among them there were 1 peak saint, 3 rank 7 true saints, and the rest were all ordinary disciples below rank 7. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. And this puppet fighter had suppressed the disciples of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley so brazenly in front of everyone, and it was in the vicinity of the mountain gate of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. This naturally caused the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley to be furious. The Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley immediately sent experts over to kill them. It was still in a city near the mountain gate of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. That invincible Saint Realm puppet fighter had just suppressed 4 disciples of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. In the end, just as he was about to return to the side of the Demon Master Chenhua, a spatial tunnel suddenly appeared in the void of this city. Following that, no less than 10 figures stepped out of the spatial tunnel at the same time. Each of these figures had a strong aura. The weakest one was an expert above the peak Saint Realm, and the 2 principals masters were in the lead. When they arrived, they immediately surrounded the invincible Saint Puppet Fighter. Jianghu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua hid their auras in a corner of the city. When they saw the 10-odd figures from Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, they smiled. Heavenly Sword Marquis, the big fish you've been waiting for is finally here. The 2 principals masters, together with so many peak saints and invincible saints, it seems that Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley is also very cautious. They know that this matter might not be so simple, so they sent so many experts at once, Demon Master Chenhua said with a smile. It's big fish, and the 2 principals masters in the lead happen to be 2 acquaintances of mine, Jianghu Shuang said. Acquaintances? Demon Master Chenhua was surprised. Jianghu Shuang's eyes were extremely sharp as he looked at the 2 figures in the center of the void who were emitting the aura of principals masters. Chapter 3372. Acquaintances. The first of the 2 was Han Xan, whom he had saved in the Blood Wave realm. Han Xan was a genius disciple of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. When she was in the Blood Wave realm, she had obtained another Blood Wave token and had broken through to become a Principal's Master. However, because she had just broken through not long ago, she had not had the time to open her own secret realm, so she was only a Principal's Master in the Void realm. She only had one part of the power of the will. As for the other person, it was a long time ago. It was the first time Jianghu Shuang met someone from the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion in the Golden Crow 9 realms. In order to prevent them from taking his wife, Lung Ru Shuang, away, they fought. When he used the heaven-cleaving skill to sweep the surroundings, it was the Principal's Master who stopped him. At that time, the Principal's Master only sent his consciousness doppelganger, but even so, he could still easily crush Jianghu Shuang. It was because of the appearance of the Principal's Master's consciousness doppelganger that the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley was able to take his wife away in front of Jianghu Shuang. Now, Jianghu Shuang did not expect that it would be such a coincidence. The expert sent by the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley was the Principal's Master who had sent the consciousness clone. This Principal's Master should be the Zhu Xan Master of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. Jianghu Shuang had long known the identity of this Principal's Master. Among the Principal's Masters of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, Zhu Xan Master could only be considered as an ordinary Principal's Master. Her strength had been stuck at the level of the 2 void realms, and her methods were not too excessive. Han Xan together with Zhu Xan Master, they are indeed 2 big fish. As long as we can suppress them, Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley will not be nervous. As for their Valley Master, no matter how unwilling she is, she has to come and see us. Jianghu Shuang sneered, let's go. If we want to suppress these 2 Principal's Masters, we have to do it ourselves. Jianghu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua immediately dashed toward the void in front of them. In the void, many experts of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, led by Han Xan and Zhu Xan, had surrounded the invincible Saint Puppet Fighter in the center, but they were not in a hurry to attack. Is this the person who is unscrupulously suppressing the disciples of our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley? Zhu Xan stared at the puppet fighter with a cold gaze. Martial uncle, something isn't right. Although this person's aura is quite extraordinary, there isn't the slightest bit of life aura on his body, Han Xan said. If nothing unexpected happens, the person in front of us should only be a puppet fighter. He is only obeying the orders of his master. As for the person who is truly against our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, there is someone else, and he must be nearby, Zhu Xan Master said coldly. She had just finished speaking. Ha, Zhu Xan Master, you're really smart. A hearty laughter suddenly rang out. Jianghu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua had already appeared in the void beside them. When they saw who it was, Zhu Xan Master and Han Xin's expressions instantly changed. Heavenly Sword Marquis? Han Xan looked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. It's you? Is him. Zhu Xan Master's body shook violently. She knew about Heavenly Sword Marquis, who was famous throughout the Divine Beginning realm more than 400 years ago. She had recognized him as the little guy who had stopped her from leaving with Lung Rushuang in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. At that time, Jian Wushuang was indeed just a little guy. Although he had shown extraordinary abilities, she had not taken him seriously. But now, that little guy had grown to a level that even she was extremely afraid of. Heavenly Sword Marquis, is this puppet fighter yours? Han Xian stared at Jian Wushuang. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Sort of. Jian Wushuang nodded with a smile. Did you order this puppet fighter to suppress the disciples of our supreme emotion-forgetting valley in the surrounding territory? Han Xian asked again. Yes, Jian Wushuang admitted directly. What? Why did you do that? Han Xian frowned. Because Jian Wushuang had saved her life in the Blood Wave realm, Han Xian subconsciously thought that Jian Wushuang and the Great Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley should be friends but not enemies. Therefore, she did not understand why Jian Wushuang did this now. My purpose is actually very simple. Although you don't know it, the top experts of your Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, such as Valley Master Longyu, must know it. And the Zhu Xan Master who is beside you might also be able to guess it, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you deliberately let your puppet fighter suppress the disciples of our valley. Your purpose should be to lure Han Xian and me out, right? We are your real targets, Master Zhu Xian said in a cold voice. You're half right. I did use this puppet fighter to lure the principals masters of our valley out. As for my real purpose, it's not you. But as long as I suppress you too, my purpose will be achieved, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. You want to suppress the two of us? With just you? Zhu Xan Master's eyes turned cold, her face was also filled with anger. She waved her sleeve and a large amount of divine power swept out, turning into a huge divine power storm that swept toward Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Qinhua. However, after Zhu Xan Master had done all this, she did not wait for the divine power storm to reach Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Qinhua. She turned her head and shouted at the same time, Han Xan, run! She did not hesitate at all. The moment she saw Jian Wushuang, she knew his real purpose. At the same time, she also knew his strength and means. Jian Wushuang alone was not enough for her and Han Xan to fight him, not to mention that Jian Wushuang had an unfathomable principles master by his side. Therefore, Zhu Xian did not intend to fight Jian Wushuang in the first place. She was just pretending to be angry to pave the way for her and Han Xan to escape. Now, as the divine storm swept toward Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Qinhua, she and Han Xan immediately fled backward. As for the Peak Saints, they also fled in all directions. You want to escape? It's not that easy. Jian Wushuang smiled coldly. A large amount of space-time principle power rose from his body. Then he reached out his right hand and made a strange cut in the void in front of him. One finger painting the sky, space-time prison. Bus. With that simple cut, the space-time principle's power condensed in Jian Wushuang's body instantly surged up and swept out in all directions like waves. In just a moment, it covered the entire secret realm of heaven and earth. Chapter 3373, Suppression, is this space-time imprisonment? Zhu Xan Master, who was fleeing frantically, sensed the changes in the surrounding space-time immediately and was shocked. How is this possible? How did you master space-time imprisonment so quickly after cultivating for so long? There are many things you don't know. Jian Wushuang smiled and appeared in front of Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian in the blink of an eye. Then he waved his hand and an ancient blood-red tower appeared out of thin air, it expanded rapidly, and a majestic aura spread out from the bottom of the tower. A true treasure, a suppression-type true treasure. Zhu Xian Master and Han Xian were immediately terrified. They were principles masters after all. Although they knew that their strength was inferior to Jian Wushuang, they thought that it would be very difficult for Jian Wushuang to kill or suppress them. However, with the help of a suppression-type true treasure, it was completely different. Suppression-type true treasures were used to suppress experts. Under normal circumstances, as long as the difference in strength between the two sides was huge, the stronger side could completely rely on the suppression-type true treasure to suppress the weaker side. So what if you have a suppression-type true treasure? Although you're stronger than me, you're not much stronger. As long as I have enough divine power, how can you suppress me? Zhu Xan Master said coldly. Ha, Zhu Xan Master, I'm afraid you've made a mistake. Although I'm the one who took out this suppression type true treasure, I'm not the one who uses it. Jian Wushuang laughed loudly. What? Zhu Xan Master was stunned. The next moment she saw the person controlling the blood tower. The person controlling the blood tower was the sloppy old man who had previously made her feel unfathomable. This sloppy old man was naturally the demon master Qinhua. He was in existence at the peak of the 6th level of the void. Now that he was in control of the blood-colored tower, a world-shaking might burst forth from it. In almost an instant, the blood-colored tower had already covered both Zhu Xan Master and Han Xan. No, impossible. How can this be? Zhu Xan Master and Han Xan struggled madly under the blood-colored tower. However, no matter how hard they struggled, they were unable to break free of the blood-colored tower. In the end, the blood tower opened its bloody mouth like a beast and swallowed them. The two principals masters could not resist at all and were suppressed in an instant. As for the peak saints, Jian Wushuang did not let them go. He also suppressed them with the suppression-type holy treasure in the hands of the invincible saint-level helmet. After doing all this, Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Qinhua gathered again. Heavenly Sword Marquis, your suppression-type holy treasure is quite powerful. It should have reached the level of an advanced supreme treasure. Its value is extraordinary. How did you get such a precious treasure? Demon Master Qinhua returned the blood-red tower to Jian Wushuang. At the same time he asked. Got this blood-red tower from a rule master I killed, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. He was telling the truth. More than 400 years ago, the battle on Saha Island had been earth-shaking. Many principals masters had died in that battle, and Jian Wushuang had killed some of them with his own hands. For example, the 4 flame divine guards around the Flame Saint Master and the Tianyu Master, who had reached the peak of the 5th Void Realm and was one of the top officials of the Destruction Saint Realm, had all been killed by Jian Wushuang after he had received the power from Blood Wave. The 4 flame divine guards, which were treasures left behind by Tianyu Master and the others, naturally fell into Jian Wushuang's hands. The suppression-type supreme treasure, the Blood Tower, which Jian Wushuang took out was from Tianyu Master. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. In fact, he had obtained many supreme treasures from the previous battle, and several of them were useful to him, but he did not have the time to use them. It was not until today that he gave them to Demon Master Qinhua, that he handed them over to Demon Master Qinhua to use. Zhu Xan and Han Xan have been suppressed. Now, Valley Master Longyu from the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley can't refuse to meet me. Jian Wushuang sneered and glanced at the blood-red tower in his hand, then he kept the blood-red tower in his arms. In the blood-red tower, Zhu Xan and Han Xan were trapped inside. Although their strength was not restricted, and they were constantly bombarding the surrounding towers, no matter how they used their skills, they were unable to shake the blood tower in the slightest. Is useless. This tower is a suppression-type true treasure, and it is estimated to have reached the level of a high-level true treasure. With such a true treasure, just the two of us won't be able to move, much less destroy this tower. Zhu Xan Master attacked a few times, he shook his head helplessly. Uncle Master, Heavenly Sword Marquis did not kill us immediately. Instead, he suppressed us within this blood tower. What is he trying to do? Han Xan asked with a frown. He is trying to, Zhu Xan narrowed her eyes. She swallowed the words that were about to come out of her mouth. Don't worry about what his motive is. In short, Heavenly Sword Marquis isn't trying to kill us. He is just trying to use the two of us to threaten our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. If nothing goes wrong, the Valley Master already knows that the two of us are being suppressed by Heavenly Sword Marquis. He will definitely come out to rescue us. How to save him? Han Xan asked again. Negotiate with him. Valley Master will definitely negotiate with Heavenly Sword Marquis, but we don't know how to negotiate with him. Well, wait in this tower. Master Zhu Xan sighed. She did not feel good about it. More than 1,000 years ago, when she first saw Jian Wushuang in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion, he was not even a saint. At that time, Jian Wushuang was just an ant. Even worse than an ant, she did not take Jian Wushuang seriously at all. However, in the blink of an eye, Jian Wushuang had grown to such an extent. Moreover, when they met again, she was suppressed by him without any ability to fight back. The contrast between them was so great that it was hard for him to accept for a moment. On the other side, in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, as what Master Zhu Xan had said, Valley Master Longyu and the top management of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley had already learned that Master Zhu Xan and Han Xan had been suppressed by Jian Wushuang. How dare he? How dare he suppress the elders of the valley? How dare he? If he didn't have the courage, he wouldn't have fought with the three Saint Realms. To be honest, he's not even afraid of the three Saint Realm Masters, so he doesn't care about the valley. Suppressing the elders of the valley is no longer a challenge to the valley, but a declaration of war. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley's highest level principles masters were all extremely furious at this moment. Chapter 3374. Face to face. In contrast to the furious elders present, Longyu, the valley master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, appeared rather calm at this moment. This Heavenly Sword Marquis is really persistent. He wants to use such a method to force us out. Longyu said in a low voice. Force us out? What does the valley master mean by this? An elder at the side asked in puzzlement. You don't know. At this moment, the woman in black spoke. Not long ago, that Heavenly Sword Marquis personally came to visit our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, but was rejected by us. After he left, he immediately began to suppress the disciples of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley in the surrounding territories. Of course, his goal was to force us out. Is that so? Heavenly Sword Marquis actually came to visit us? Heavenly Sword Marquis is extraordinary in both strength and status. Since he came to visit us, how could our valley refuse him? Most of the elders present were not aware of the conflict between Jianghu Shuang and our valley, so they were puzzled. Everyone, there is a subtle relationship between Heavenly Sword Marquis and the valley. He is here for the young master. Longyu said. Hearing the words young master, the elders in the hall were shocked. Young master. Heavenly Sword Marquis is related to young master? How can that be? Young master should have no connection with the outside world. How can he have anything to do with Heavenly Sword Marquis? Valley master, what exactly is going on? A white-haired old woman asked. It's like this. Longyu immediately began to explain. She briefly described the cause and effect of the matter. It's because I knew that there might be some connection between Heavenly Sword Marquis and the young master. If he appeared in front of the young master, it might affect the young master's cultivation. That's why I blocked him out. I just didn't expect the Heavenly Sword Marquis to be so persistent and use such a method to force us to meet him, Longyu said. When they heard Longius' words, the elders all understood. At the same time, they also understood Longius' actions. The young master was too important to their Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. The young master's cultivation must not be sloppy. Therefore, ever since the young master came to their Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, the young master's existence. Only the elders and some of the best disciples knew some things, but the others did not. Not to mention the experts from the other forces, even 99% of the people in the valley did not know about the existence of the young master. Now, Jianghu Shuang was obviously here for the young master, so they could not let him affect the young master. We can't let Heavenly Sword Marquis meet the young master, but the problem is that Heavenly Sword Marquis has suppressed so many disciples of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, including Han Xian and Elder Zhu Xian. Under such circumstances, we can't avoid him anymore, Longyu said. Since we can't avoid him, let's face him. Let's see what Heavenly Sword Marquis is going to do. Yes, although Heavenly Sword Marquis is strong and powerful, our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has been in the Divine Beginning realm for so many years. Why should we fear him? Even Temple Master Bai Xing of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, or even Temporal Temple Master, wouldn't dare to go too far against our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. What is this little Heavenly Sword Marquis? Heavenly Sword Marquis is too arrogant. I suggest we teach him a lesson. As long as we don't kill him, even the Temporal Temple won't say anything. Some elders had already said that they wanted to teach Jianghu Shuang a lesson. This was normal. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley's heritage was far beyond that of sects like the Xiaoyao Mansion. Even the Amethyst Demon sect at its peak was far inferior to the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Most importantly, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley had always had its biggest reliance. With that reliance, even the three Saint Realms and the three Freedom Alliances had some concerns about them. Because of this, they were not afraid of any sects or forces, and no one dared to push them to the limit. As time went by, this made the elders and disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley more arrogant. They did not want to provoke Jianghu Shuang, but they were not afraid if he provoked them. Valley Master, in my opinion, this is not a trivial matter. You all know how powerful Heavenly Sword Marquis is. Even if the three Saint Realms set up an inescapable net and the three Masters of the Saint Realm, together with the Sorcerer God, could not do anything to him. We have to think carefully before we meet him. Why don't we report this to the old master and see what he says? An elder who had reached the fourth realm of the void said. However, Longyu waved her hand. When Heavenly Sword Marquis came to visit previously, I've already checked. He only has a Principal's Master who is suspected to be at the 4th level of the Void. With his own strength, he won't pose much of a threat to our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. There's no need to trouble the Ancestor. Let's go meet Heavenly Sword Marquis first. If both sides can agree, then they'll naturally be on good terms. If they can't agree, then let's have a big battle. As long as we don't kill him, we'll teach him a lesson. There won't be any problems. Hearing Longius' words, the surrounding elders all nodded in agreement. Then where is the Heavenly Sword Marquis now? Longyu asked. He's staying in the city where Elder Han Xian and Elder Zhu Xian were suppressed. It seems that he knows that we won't be able to sit still, so he might as well wait for us there, the black-clothed woman said. Very good. Since that's the case, let's go meet them. Longius' eyes emitted a cold light. To be safe, let's invite Martial Uncle K out. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Martial Uncle K? The surrounding elders were all startled. They naturally knew who Martial Uncle K was that Longyu was talking about. In the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, other than the oldest and most revered Old Supremacy, this Martial Uncle K had the highest seniority. In terms of strength, Martial Uncle K was naturally very strong. At least he was much stronger than anyone present, including Longyu. Such an ancient and senior expert, logically speaking, he should have gone to the depths of the universe battlefield, but Martial Uncle K did not. Therefore, Martial Uncle K became one of the trump cards of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. Soon, many experts of the valley headed toward Jianghu. Chapter 3375. Master Gorsch. The cities where Master Han Xian and Master Zhu Xian were suppressed were still in a tavern. Jianghu and Demon Master Chenhua were drinking while quietly waiting for the arrival of the experts from the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. The speed of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley is really slow, Jianghu said. Don't worry. You've suppressed the 2 rule masters, so the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley won't pretend that they don't know. Besides, although the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley keeps a low profile and doesn't compete for hegemony, it's actually a very arrogant sect that values its reputation very much. If they don't react at all, won't they become a joke? Demon Master Chenhua said with a smile. I'm not worried that they won't come. I'm just worried about their attitude. If we can come to an agreement later, it'll be fine. But if the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley is too tough and doesn't give us a chance to talk, then we'll be in trouble. Jianghu narrowed his eyes. At this moment, a group of figures was rushing over from the void not far away. Oh, they're here. Jianghu and Demon Master Chenhua raised their heads. Although they were still some distance away, they had a clear view of each other's lineup. 8 Principals Masters? Jianghu expression changed. As far as I know, although Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley has always been the overlord of the second heaven and no one has dared to provoke it, in fact, there are not many top experts in Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. 4 Principals Masters, there are only about a dozen of them. I've already suppressed 2 of them before, but now I've summoned 8 Principals Masters at once. Thanks, they really think highly of me. Among these 8 Principals Masters I only know 2. One of them is their Valley Master Longyu, and the other is Master Gorsch. This old woman is a character from my master's era. When she became famous, I wasn't even born. At that time, it has been 300 million years since then. Such an ancient character is still staying in the Divine Beginning Realm? In the Divine Beginning Realm, regardless of whether it was some top forces or sects or some solitary experts, under normal circumstances, as long as their strength reached a certain level and there was almost no room for improvement in the Divine Beginning Realm, they would all go to the depths of the universe battlefield to wander or roam about, and once they went out, very few would return. However, there were also some people who clearly had no room for improvement in the Divine Beginning Realm, but they were not in a hurry to leave. Instead, they stayed in the Divine Beginning Realm, like the 4 ancient immortals of the Temporal Temple. They had founded the Temporal Temple together with the Temporal Temple Master, which was much further away from now. However, the 4 of them still stayed in the Divine Beginning Realm. There was also Elder Darkbone, who was also an old monster who was still in the Divine Beginning Realm. I guess you're worried about the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, Jianghu said. Then he asked, Chenhua, since you know about Master Gorsch, you should know her strength, right? Well, when the Amethyst Demon Sect was still alive, I had a fight with Master Gorsch. At that time, I was only at the 4th realm of the Void Realm, and Master Gorsch was also at the 4th realm of the Void Realm. When I fought with her, we were evenly matched. To be exact, she was slightly better than me. Now, although she's not very talented, it's been a long time. No matter what, her strength should have improved. According to my estimation, her current combat strength is at least at the peak of the 5th Void Realm, and it's very likely that she has reached the level of the 6th Void Realm, Demon Master Chenhua said. If she really is at the 6th Void Realm, are you confident that you can defeat her? Jian Wushuang asked. Of course I'm confident. Demon Master Chenhua smiled. This old woman was only a hair's breadth away from the 5th Void Realm, but I was able to fight her as soon as I stepped into the 4th Void Realm. Now, even if she has reached the 6th Void Realm, she is absolutely no match for me. Demon Master Chenhua was very confident. Indeed, he was now at the peak of the 6th Realm of the Void, and the gap between him and the pinnacle of the 6th Realm of the Void was very small. In the Divine Beginning Realm, there were probably not many Principles Masters who could be stronger than him. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. That's good. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. Although there were 8 Principles Masters from the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, the only one who was worthy of Jian Wushuang's fear was Master Gorsch. As for the others, even their Valley Master Longyu, Jian Wushuang did not take them seriously. Well, they are here. Let's go and meet them. Jian Wushuang smiled and walked out of the tavern with Demon Master Chenhua. They came to the void and stopped in front of the 8 Rule Masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Heavenly Sword Marquis, greetings to all of you from Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Jian Wushuang maintained an extremely humble posture at the beginning. After all, he did not want to lose all decorum with the valley. It would be best if they could reach an agreement. Heavenly Sword Marquis, how dare you suppress the 2 Principles Masters and so many disciples of the valley? Don't think that because you have the support of the Temporal Temple, the valley won't dare to do anything to you. Release the people of the valley. Longya's eyes were cold. She stared at Jian Wushuang. Haha, Longyu, long time no see. You still have such a bad temper. A hearty laugh came out of the mouth of Demon Master Chenhua, who was looking at Longyu with a smile. Longyu also noticed the existence of Demon Master Chenhua. You are Demon Master Chenhua? Longya's pupils suddenly shrank. Chenhua? The monster from the Amethyst Demon Sect? Master Gorsch immediately looked at Demon Master Chenhua. Haha, I didn't expect that the 2 of you would still remember me after such a long time. How rare. Demon Master Chenhua sneered. How is that possible? Aren't you already dead? Longyu looked at Demon Master Chenhua in shock. During the battle that destroyed the Amethyst Demon Sect back then, many of the top experts of the Amethyst Demon Sect should have been killed. And you are the most famous genius elder of the Amethyst Demon Sect. The Flame Saint Realm wouldn't let you off so easily. How can you still be alive and have even gotten together with Heavenly Sword Marquis? Master Gorsch's face was also filled with shock. She had personally fought with the Demon Master Chenhua before, so she knew how terrifying he was. The Flame Saint Realm would definitely think of ways to kill such a super genius, but now the Demon Master Chenhua was clearly alive and well. Humph, the Flame Saint Realm wants to kill me, but unfortunately I won't give them a chance. The Demon Master Chenhua's voice was cold. As for why I am with the Heavenly Sword Marquis, that's none of your business. Chapter 3376. Urgent. After a simple greeting between Demon Master Chenhua and the people of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, the 2 sides went back to the main topic. Valley Master Longyu, as well as the people of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, I, Heavenly Sword Marquis, can swear that I have no hostility toward the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley from the beginning to the end. As for the reason why I suppressed the experts and disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley this time, it was because I had no choice. I hope you can forgive me. Jian Wushuang lowered his attitude. Do you really have to do this? Not only did you suppress the ordinary disciples, but you also suppressed 2 Principles Masters. Do you really have to do this? Valley Master Longyu shouted coldly. I suppressed them because I wanted to lure you out. In fact, when I visited Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley not long ago, if you hadn't rejected me, this wouldn't have happened, Jian Wushuang said. Humph, Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has some private matters to deal with. I said that I would visit you in the Temporal Temple, but you forced me to meet you by suppressing the disciples of the experts of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. How can you visit people like this? Valley Master Longyu said. Valley Master Longyu, I'm afraid only you know the reason why your Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley rejected me. But now that things have come to this, it's useless to pursue this matter. Let's get down to business. Jian Wushuang looked at Valley Master Longyu. Compared to Valley Master Longyu and the other masters of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, you should already know why I'm here. The principals masters of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley looked at each other in dismay. Naturally they understood, but they did not show any change in their expressions. How would I know why you're here? Valley Master Longyu asked. Then let me be clear. More than 1,000 years ago, in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion of the Golden Crow 9 Realms in the Endless Territories, the people of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley took my wife away in front of me. Among the people who took my wife was the consciousness clone of Master Zhu Xian. Now, I'm here to visit Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley to take my wife away. Jian Wushuang said. Your wife? Valley Master Longyu and the principal's masters frowned. What? Their young master and Heavenly Sword Marquis were husband and wife? No. Valley Master Longyu immediately shook her head. Young master is the most suitable person to cultivate the divine skill that our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley has spent so many years and energy to find. She shouldn't have any secular aura at all. How could she have a husband? Thinking of this, Valley Master Longyu immediately believed that Jian Wushuang was lying. Heavenly Sword Marquis, do you think that people from our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley are so stupid that they will be easily deceived by you? Valley Master Longyu said angrily, the rule of our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley has always been that we only accept virgins as disciples. Anyone who enters our valley must be heartless and unfeeling, therefore before she comes to the valley, we will make sure that her love threads are completely cut off. You said that the person that Master Zhu Xian took away was your wife, but since she was your wife, how could she be qualified to enter our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley? It's true that the person that Master Zhu Xian took away was my wife, but her memory has not been completely restored. As long as you let me see her, I will naturally have a way to restore her memory, Jian Wushuang said. Whether she's your disciple or not, it's meaningless now, Valley Master Longyu said. Meaningless. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes slightly. Yes, as long as she enters my great Forget Love Valley, she will naturally sever all love. My Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley will naturally not allow her to meet you. Moreover, even if my Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley allows it, you won't be able to see her, Valley Master Longyu said. Why? Jian Wushuang frowned. It's simple. The person you mentioned is dead. Valley Master Longyu said. What did you say? Jian Wushuang's expression changed drastically, and a fierce light flashed in his eyes. Yes, she is dead. Not long after she came to our valley, she died during an experiential training, Valley Master Longyu said seriously. When the principals masters of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley heard Valley Master Longyu's words, they were all stunned and could not help but sigh in their hearts. They all knew that the person Jian Wushuang was talking about was their young master. The young master was still alive and well. However, in order to make Jian Wushuang completely give up, Valley Master Longyu directly said that their young master was dead. At this moment, when Jian Wushuang heard the news, he was a little stunned and did not react in time. What followed was endless killing intent and unprecedented fear, but he quickly calmed down. He raised his head and looked carefully at Valley Master Longyu and the principal's masters beside her. Although these principal's masters were trying their best to hide it, Jian Wushuang still saw some clues. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Valley Master Longyu is fine, but some of the other principal's masters have strange expressions. It seems that they were also shocked by the look in their eyes. Jian Wushuang observed carefully. More than 400 years ago when I met Han Xian in the Bloodware realm and asked about Shuang for the first time, Han Xin's expression was obviously different. I'm sure that Shuang was alive and well at that time, and her position in Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley was extraordinary. But now, when Valley Master Jade said that Shuang was dead, it was as if she was talking about the death of an insignificant ordinary disciple. Based on these 2 points, I am sure that Valley Master Longyu is lying. Jian Wushuang immediately understood and his eyes turned cold. Valley Master Longyu, I'm sure that she is still alive. Just tell me what conditions you want me to take her away. Conditions? What conditions can you offer? Valley Master Longyu glanced at Jian Wushuang. No matter what kind of harsh conditions you offer, as long as you bring them up, I can try to fulfill them. Even if you want me to destroy a top sect in the third heaven for you, or even destroy a saint realm and kill a master of the saint realm, I can try. Jian Wushuang clenched his hands, his eyes were full of longing and expectation. He and his wife had been separated for too long. He could not wait to see his wife. He was too eager. Upon hearing Jian Wushuang's words, both Valley Master Longyu and the principal's masters of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley were stunned. Chapter 3377. Rage, this heavenly sword Marquis really dares to say it. He destroyed a Saint Realm and even killed a Saint Realm Master? Who does he think he is? Don't underestimate him. This heavenly sword Marquis once severely injured the Flame Saint Master and the Sorcerer God at the Saint Realm. Although everyone knows that he must have used some special power, it's still incredible that a saint can do this. His potential in the future is really boundless. He might really have the strength to kill a Saint Realm Master in the future. This heavenly sword Marquis is willing to accept such a condition. It can be seen how deep her obsession with the young master is. The principals masters of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley were secretly communicating. Humph, it is precisely because this obsession is too deep that it should be destroyed as soon as possible. Otherwise, Valley Master Longius' eyes flickered, but his heart was even more determined. Heavenly Sword Marquis, although the conditions you mentioned are shocking and tempting, and even I was almost moved by you, it's a pity that the disciple you mentioned is indeed dead. I can't let you see her again even if you talk about heaven breaking, Valley Master Longyu said. Of course if you really want to see her, there's a way. After all, you're a member of the Temporal Temple, and your talent is so high. The Temporal Temple Master must think highly of you. You can ask the Temporal Temple Master to help you reverse time and space and resurrect her. Upon hearing Valley Master Longius' words, Jian Wushuang's face turned extremely gloomy. He did not expect that Valley Master Longyu would insist that his wife was dead even though he had shown enough sincerity and lowered his attitude. This left him no room for negotiation. It was useless no matter what he said. As for Valley Master Longius' request for him to invite Temporal Temple Master to perform the reverse of time and space, that was right. The Temporal Temple Master valued him very much. If he went to beg Temporal Temple Master, even though the price of performing the reverse of time and space was very high, Temporal Temple Master might really help him once. But the key was, Temporal Temple Master was not in Temporal Temple at all. He had already gone to the universe battlefield and had just left. It was impossible for him to come back now, so it was impossible for him to help him reverse time and space. Valley Master Longyu knew this, so she dared to say this, not giving Jian Wushuang any chance to refute. Since you're already dead, you can ask Temporal Temple Master to reverse time and space if you have the ability. Valley Master Longyu sneered in her heart. Valley Master Longyu, it seems that you really don't want to give me any chance. You really want to shed all pretense of cordiality with me. Jian Wushuang's voice had become extremely cold. I don't have that idea, but the person you're talking about is indeed dead. There's nothing I can do. Valley Master Longyu said. Very good. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned scarlet as if he was a demon from hell. Valley Master Longyu, you might not know this, but I said something to you when your people took my wife away from the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion, didn't I? What did you say? Valley Master Longyu and the principal's masters looked over. El said to Master Zhu Xen that if my wife lost a hair or suffered any grievance, I would wipe out your entire clan. Jian Wushuang said slowly, now since you said that my wife is dead, there is no need for your clan to exist anymore. Heavenly Sword Marquis, what did you say? Valley Master Longyu was immediately enraged. How arrogant. The principal's masters of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley were also shocked and angry. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley had always been arrogant because of its strongest support. Even the Three Freedom Alliance and the Three Saint Realms were not afraid of them. As for Jian Wushuang, although they had some concerns, they were not afraid of him. However, such a person said that he wanted to destroy the entire Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley in front of all of them? How could they not be angry? If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. I, Heavenly Sword Marquis, have never been careless with my words. Since I said that I wanted to destroy your entire family, I will destroy your entire family. As soon as he finished speaking, Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand and a mini palace appeared in his hand. As soon as the palace appeared, it immediately attracted the attention of the experts of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Because they had sensed the aura of many saints from the palace, it was not surprising. The immortal saints imprisoned in the palace were the disciples of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley who had been suppressed by Jian Wushuang. Heavenly Sword Marquis, what are you going to do? Valley Master Longius' face was cold. Jian Wushuang did not speak. With just a thought, a terrifying power directly covered the mini-palace. In an instant, dozens of disciples of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley who were imprisoned in the mini-palace were crushed under the pressure, their bodies were immediately shattered. Even their immortal bodies were useless. This scene made Valley Master Longyu and the other rule masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley extremely shocked and angry. However, Jian Wushuang stretched out his hand again. What appeared in his hand was a mini blood-red tower. This blood-red tower exuded the aura of a supreme treasure. The moment Valley Master Longyu and the others saw this blood-red tower, their eyes were wide open because they had already sensed the auras of Han Xian and Zhu Xian Master in the blood-red tower. At the same time, a surge of astonishing power rose from Jian Wushuang's body and directly covered the Scarlet Tower. No! Stop! Valley Master Longyu and Master Gorsch were both furious. However, the power had already affected Zhu Xian and Han Xian. Although they were both principal's masters, they were suppressed in the Scarlet Tower and could not resist Jian Wushuang's power at all. Boom! The terrifying power crushed their divine bodies in an instant. However, they were principal's masters after all, so it was not enough to kill them with just one attack. However, they had already used up nearly half of their divine power. A large amount of power surged from Jian Wushuang's body again. It was obvious that he intended to cover them with power for the second time. He's courting death. Stop him. The people from the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley immediately attacked. They did not dare to give Jian Wushuang a second chance to use his power to crush them. Therefore, if they used their power to crush them again, Zhu Xian and Han Xian in the Blood-Red Tower would probably be able to withstand it. They would most likely die. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you're too impudent. The cold voice came from Master Gorsch, who was exuding a shocking destructive aura. Chapter 3378. Fierce Battle. A majestic aura surged out of Master Gorsch's body and directly pressed down on Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua. When they felt this aura, Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua instantly understood the level of Master Gorsch. She really is in the sixth realm of the void. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. TT seems that this old woman has not wasted her time. Demon Master Chenhua was still very relaxed. Many principals masters of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley looked proud. Master Gorsch was the strongest person in the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley besides the old master. He was also a great reliance. In the second heaven, other overlord sects like Xiaoyao Palace, the strongest Marquis Xiaoyao was only at the peak of the void fourth realm. However, the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley's foundation was obviously much deeper. As long as Master Gorsch took it out, is enough to bring shame to almost all the sects in the duplex. Buzz 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 buzz. She held a spear in her hand. The spear is extremely sharp, lightning-like thrust. 3 rules of the integration of the power, at this moment also completely revealed. And at the moment when Master Gorsch made his move, the Demon Master Chenhua also moved. Demon Master Chenhua's figure flickered and appeared in front of Master Gorsch as though she had teleported. After that, a similarly shocking aura rose up. The Demon Master Chenhua stretched out her palm and clenched it into a fist. After that, she directly punched out. Courting death. The eyes of Master Gorsch turned cold as she shouted out. She was a great being of the 6th level of the void space realm, and she did not hold back. As soon as she made her move, she tried her best. Even a great being of the 6th level of the void space realm had to be fully focused to receive this spear, but this Demon Master Chenhua, she did not dodge or evade. Instead, she threw a punch. The key point was that this fist did not even have a pair of fists or gloves or weapons. It was purely an empty-handed collision with her true treasure spear. If this was not courting death, then what was? In the blink of an eye, this sharp spear collided with Demon Master Chenhua's seemingly ordinary fist. A loud sound rang out. In an instant, space cracks that spread over 100 meters spread out crazily. Heaven and earth seemed to split apart directly from the middle. After this collision sound rang out, an extremely pathetic figure immediately retreated explosively from the battlefield. This pathetic figure was still emitting a white light, but it was much dimmer than before. Uncle Master K. The scene in front of them shocked Longyu and the principals masters of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. They had been proud of the strength that Master K had displayed, but in the blink of an eye, Master K had been forced back by the opponent. Furthermore, the opponent had forced her back with his bare hands. He had not even used his weapon. How can this be? If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. Master K had a look of disbelief on her face. She raised her head and looked at the Demon Master Chenhua in front of her. At this moment, the demon master Chenhua was still as calm as ever. However, there was a suffocating aura spreading from his body. This aura was something that even Master K could not help but be moved. 6 realms of the void, you are also at the 6 realms of the void. Master K was extremely shocked, and a huge wave rose in her heart. Although she had noticed Demon Master Chenhua before, and at the same time she knew about his talent in the past, but in her mind he had been silent for so many years, and his reputation in the divine beginning realm had not spread out at all. Obviously he had gone into seclusion. Only by staying in seclusion could he escape the pursuit of the Flame Saint realm. And since he was in seclusion, he was naturally completely cut off from the outside world, unable to obtain any opportunities and experiences. Even if nearly 200 million years had passed, his strength should not have increased much. But now it was clear that she had guessed wrong. With his bare hands he didn't even use his gloves, yet he was able to force me back with a single punch. This strength is definitely not just the ordinary 6 realms of the void. I'm afraid he has already reached the peak of the 6 realms of the void. Thinking of this, Master K sucked in a breath of cold air. K, you and I had crossed paths before 200 million years ago. At that time I had just stepped into the 4th realm of the void not long ago. I didn't gain any advantage from your hands and instead suffered a small loss. But today, I'm afraid the situation will have to be completely reversed. Demon Master Chenhua sneered. Master K's expression sank, but he shouted in a low voice, "Leave this Demon Master Chenhua to me. You guys go deal with Heavenly Sword Marquis." Whoosh. Master Gorsch's figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye, he was engaged in a fierce battle with Demon Master Chenhua. Meanwhile, Longyu and the other elders of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley swarmed toward Jianghu Shuang. Heavenly Sword Marquis, release Master Han Xan and Master Zhu Xin, and well spare your life. Longyu shouted. Ridiculous. Jianghu Shuang smiled disdainfully with a sneer on his face. Although he did not use his power to kill Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian in the Scarlet Tower at the first moment, he immediately made his move. His body flashed and he disappeared in front of the Principal's Masters of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. Is this shadowless escape art? Be careful, this is the shadowless escape art created by Bloodblade Master. It's very strange. The Principal's Masters of Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley immediately became alert. In the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, besides Master Gorsch, she was the most powerful expert and also at the peak of the Void Realm. She could see through Jianghu Shuang's escape art. He's there, 6th Elder behind you. Longyu immediately shouted. What? The 6th Elder of the Supreme Emotion Valley, a purple-clothed girl with a long whip, turned around immediately. Sure enough, Jianghu Shuang's figure appeared behind her, and as soon as he appeared, a blood-red flash had already attacked. It was the second move of the Bloody Blade Swordsmanship, the first move of heart penetration. It's too fast. The purple-clothed girl was shocked. She immediately waved the long whip in her hand. The long whip was like a flood dragon, instantly wrapping around the blood-red flash, trying to block it. However, the terrifying piercing power of the blood-red flash was completely beyond her imagination. Whoosh. Almost in an instant, the purple-clothed girl's long whip was shaken to the side. Fortunately, the long whip was a supreme treasure. If it was an ordinary top-tier holy treasure, under the terrifying piercing power, the long whip would probably be shattered instantly. The long whip was easily shaken away, and the blood-red shock wave did not decrease in power, but it continued to pierce through the purple-clothed girl's divine body. The purple-clothed girl immediately activated the surface defense of her body. But in the end? Chapter 3379. Dilemma Chi. The terrifying piercing force of the blood-red light shattered the defense on the purple-clothed girl's body almost instantly. Then it continued to attack the purple-clothed girl's protective armor. Although the armor did not shatter, however, the piercing force crazily attacked her divine body. The purple-clothed girl's body trembled crazily, and 80% of her divine body collapsed on the spot. Although it did not completely collapse, as a Principal's Master, 80% of her divine body collapsed. It took her more than 30% of her divine power to recover in an instant. After the collision with Jianghu Shuang, the purple-robed girl was so frightened that she immediately retreated to the side. As for Jianghu Shuang, after he successfully fought with the purple-robed girl, he disappeared again. The Principal's Masters nearby could not sense his position and could not surround him. He's with you. Longyu spoke again and immediately informed the other Principal's Masters of Jianghu Shuang's position. However, as soon as she spoke, Jianghu Shuang immediately changed his position. Although she could sense it at the first moment after she sensed it, she spoke it out from her mouth and finally made the other principal's masters realize it. There was obviously a time difference between them. Although the time difference was very small, it was enough for Jian Wushuang. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. In the void, Jian Wushuang relied on the shadowless escape art to conceal himself time and time again. Then he attacked again and again at lightning speed. Although Longyu had whammed him at once, the reaction of the principal's masters was still half a beat slower. And this half a beat forced them to face Jian Wushuang's attack head-on. Moreover, Jian Wushuang's speed was too fast when he used the shadowless escape art. Longyu had been trying to catch up with him. As long as she could fight with Jian Wushuang would not be able to conceal himself anymore. The other principal's masters could also attack, but the problem was that Longyu could not keep up at all. She could not keep up with Jian Wushuang, so she could only keep reminding him. However, the reminder only prepared the principal's masters and gave them some reaction. In other words, although there were many principal's masters present in the supreme emotion-forgetting valley, they could not surround Jian Wushuang at all, nor could they join hands. They could only passively wait for Jian Wushuang to kill them again and again. Jian Wushuang had severely injured three principal's masters' divine bodies and depleted a lot of their divine power. If this continued, the principal's master's divine power would be depleted more and more. Heavenly Sword Marquis, if you have the ability, fight us head-on. Longyu could not help but shout. Humph, what a joke. You have 7 principal's masters ganging up on me, an immortal saint, and you want me to fight you head-on? Longyu, are the people of your supreme emotion-forgetting valley all so shameless? Jian Wushuang scolded her coldly. Being scolded by Jian Wushuang on the spot, Longyi's face was extremely ugly, but she could not do anything about it. Indeed, they had already outnumbered them. It was indeed a little shameless of them to ask Jian Wushuang to fight them head-on at this time. However, if Jian Wushuang continued to rely on the shadowless escape art to fight them, they would be too passive. If this continued, the 7 rule masters would be forced to retreat. At first, Longyu knew that Jian Wushuang was hard to deal with, but she did not expect him to be so hard to deal with. At first, she had called Master Gorsch for insurance, but now Master Gorsch was not in a good situation, let alone helping them to suppress Jian Wushuang. Longyu had noticed that in the surrounding void, Demon Master Chenhua, who was fighting Master Gorsch, had put on a golden red glove. The golden red glove gave off a terrifying destructive aura. It was an extremely powerful true treasure. In terms of level, it was probably a top-tier true treasure. Previously, when Sinking Fire Devil Master fought with the all-out Gorsch Master with his bare hands, he was able to push back Gorsch Master and put him in an extremely difficult situation. Now Demon Master Chenhua had taken out a top-tier true treasure weapon. Once the power of this top-tier true treasure was added to it, it was enough to let Demon Master Chenhua's power reach a whole new level. Sure enough, Demon Master Chenhua, who had put on the Golden Fist gloves, had only attacked 3 times in the following fierce battle. She had not used any powerful techniques or trump cards, and she had fought head-on. However, Master K could no longer withstand it, and their godly body had obviously suffered a lot of damage. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Too powerful. This Demon Master Chenhua's current strength has definitely reached the peak of the 6 states of the void. I'm afraid he's only 1 step away from reaching the pinnacle of the 6 states of the void and grasping 7 portions of the power of will. Furthermore, his innate talent is extraordinary and his killing ability is terrifyingly strong. I'm completely not his match. Just now, my divine power has already been depleted by nearly 30%. If this continues, I'm afraid it won't be long before my entire Bodhi's divine power is depleted. Master Gorsch's face was extremely ugly. She was trying to find a way to resist the Demon Master's crazy attack while sending a message to tell Longyu about her current situation. She wanted Longyu to think of a way quickly. But what could Longyu think of now? They were not in the nest of the supreme emotion-forgetting valley. They could not use any powerful restrictions or magic arrays. They could only rely on their own strength. In terms of strength, they were obviously not as strong as Jian Wushuang and the Demon Master. The question they faced now was whether to continue fighting or retreat. They could not win in a fight. If they retreated, they were afraid that Jian Wushuang would kill the suppressed Masters Yu Xian and Han Xian. In other words, they were now in a dilemma. Although Longyu was the Valley Master of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, she did not know what to do. However, just as Longyu and the others were in a dilemma, a figure suddenly appeared around the battlefield. Stop. The voice was a bit hoarse, but it was quite gentle. It was like the morning sun in winter warming people's hearts. The experts of both sides, the principals masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, who were fighting fiercely, were shocked when they heard the voice, and then they became ecstatic. As for Jian Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua, they were also shocked. The voice was very calm, as if it could confuse their minds. They could not help but stop what they were doing. The fierce battle was held up because of the voice. The principals masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, including Master Gorsch and Longyu, rushed to the figure who suddenly appeared and bent down. Greetings, Old Lord. Chapter 3380. The Old Lord Longyu, as well as the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley's principals masters, all had their heads lowered and were extremely respectful. Even if it was Master Gorsch, who had already reached the 6th level of the void in front of this person, he did not have the appearance of an expert at all. Regardless of whether it was his expression or gaze, they were filled with unprecedented respect and fanaticism. This was very normal because the person who had arrived was their old master. He was the greatest reliance of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, and also their greatest pride. All rise. A hoarse and gentle voice rang out once again. Master Gorsch, Longyu, and the others raised their heads and looked at their old master. This old master was extremely thin and weak. She was probably only 1.5 meters tall, appearing somewhat short. She had silver gray hair and wore a coarse and loose linen robe. She was holding a Kirin walking stick in her hand. Her face was full of wrinkles and her eyes were completely sunken. Only a line could be seen. It was difficult to associate such a thin, weak, and frail old woman with the word expert. But everyone present knew clearly that this old woman possessed earth-shaking strength. Is she the old valley master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley? Jian Wushuang stood there with a solemn gaze. He looked at the old woman and was a little shocked. Heavenly Sword Marquis were in trouble. Demon Master Chenhua appeared beside Jian Wushuang and said in a low voice, "The old valley master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley is an extremely terrifying existence." Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Of course he knew. The old valley master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley was said to be the only one who had cultivated the divine skill to an extremely high level. Although she was still at the level of a rule master, she was at most at the pinnacle of the 6 void realms. However, once she used the supreme divine skill of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, her battle strength instantly soared to a whole new level. Even the 3 great Saint Realm masters, even the true rulers, would be afraid of that level. Therefore, after a long period of time, regardless of whether it was the 3 great Saint Realms or the 3 great Freedom Alliances, when they faced the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, they all had some misgivings. When they fought for some benefits, they did not dare to push the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley too far. Once they pushed the valley too far, the 3 Freedom Alliances and the 3 Saint Realms would have a headache when the old Valley Master showed up. This time, although Jian Wushuang did not push the valley to the limit, he did it at the gate of the valley. When Longyu, Master Gorsch, and the others could not do anything to them, finally the old Valley Master came out personally. "You are Heavenly Sword Marquis?" The old woman spoke gently. She slowly raised her eyes, which had narrowed into a line, and looked at Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua. "Heavenly Sword Marquis greets you, Senior." Jian Wushuang also appeared to be quite humble and bowed slightly at the first moment. "You are too kind. Although I have stayed in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley for many years, I have heard a lot about you. You have severely injured the Flame Saint Master and the Sorcerer God in the Saint Realm. Your ability is really admirable," the old woman said. "You flatter me," Jian Wushuang said calmly. The old woman looked at Demon Master Chenhua again. "My young friend Chenhua of the Amethyst Demon Sect, I have a lot of connections with the Amethyst Demon Sect. I felt sorry for the destruction of the Amethyst Demon Sect, but am glad to see you again today." "It's my honor to meet you, Senior," Demon Master Chenhua said with a dry smile, keeping a low profile. What a joke. This old woman in front of him was a terrifying old monster who had lived for God knows how many years and was extremely powerful. Even when the Amethyst Demon Sect was still around, his master and some of the upper echelons of the Amethyst Demon Sect had to respectfully address this old woman as a junior. Although Demon Master Chenhua was not weak in front of this old woman, he did not dare to put on any airs. "Young friend Heavenly Sword Marquis, young friend Chenhua, I already know about this matter," the old woman said slowly. "It doesn't matter who is right or wrong, since I have already made an appearance, I will let it go. I will not pursue the matter of your killing the disciples of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. However, I hope that you can release Zhu Xian and Han Xian for my sake. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Com. Thanks. The old woman clearly did not intend to kill Jianwu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua, nor did she say that she wanted to seek justice for the disciples who had been killed by Jianwu Shuang. She just wanted to resolve the matter. Upon hearing this, Longyu, Master Gorsch, and the other experts of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley frowned. However, since the old master had said it herself, they naturally did not dare to disobey her. However, they were willing to resolve the matter, but Jianwu Shuang was not happy. Senior, there is no enmity between me and Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. I have always been respectful and friendly to them. Not long ago, I saved Han Xin's life in the Blood Wave realm. It can be said that I really hope to become friends with them, but the prerequisite is that they let me take my wife away. Master. Jianwu Shuang's voice was extremely solemn. Senior, you want me to release Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian? That's fine, but I have to see my wife first. Jianwu Shuang obviously would not forget his purpose of coming here just because of the appearance of the old master. He wanted to find his wife and take her away. No one could stop him. The old master of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley was indeed an earth-shaking expert and was very difficult to deal with. Jianwu Shuang did not want to be her enemy unless necessary, but now, for his wife, he had no choice. Your wife, Lung-er? The old woman pondered for a moment, then shook her head. No, Lung-er is very important to the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. I can't let you see her and affect her state of mind. Then I can only let you down. Jianwu Shuang's eyes turned cold. Young friend, are you really going to make an enemy of our Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley? The old woman raised her eyelids slightly, and a sharp cold light flashed out of the gap between her eyes. This cold light made people's hearts tremble. Jianwu Shuang and Demon Master Chenhua felt a chill in their bodies and hearts under this cold light. Heavenly Sword Marquis, think carefully. This old monster is not to be trifled with. Why don't we leave this place first and make a long-term plan? Demon Master Chenhua said softly. It was obvious that he was already a little afraid. Chapter 3381. Threats, leave first. Jianwu Shuang clenched his fists, but his eyes were filled with unprecedented determination. Impossible. I can give in to anything, but I can't give in to this. Senior, I don't want to make an enemy of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, but I have to take my wife with me. If you don't allow it, it'll have to offend you. Jianwu Shuang growled and flipped his palm. He took out the Scarlet Tower again. Although the divine power of Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian had recovered a little, they could still be easily killed by Jianwu Shuang if he wanted to. Heavenly Sword Marquis, how dare you? How dare you act presumptuously in front of the old master? Longyu and Master Gorsch were shocked by Jianwu Shuang's action and shouted. Shut up. Jianwu Shuang glanced at Longyu and Master Gorsch, which made them even more furious. My young friend, I haven't fought for many years and I don't want to do it today. But if you want to continue, I'll bully you no matter what. The old woman just looked at Jianwu Shuang calmly. Jianwu Shuang did not speak, but a majestic power surged out of his body. The moment the majestic power surged out, it was ready to cover the blood-red tower in front of him. But at this moment, whoosh, the old woman in the void in front of him suddenly disappeared. When she reappeared, she had already passed through Jianwu Shuang. However, although the old woman had passed through Jianwu Shuang's divine body, the latter's body began to slowly disappear. The old woman's face slightly sank. Whoosh. In the void on the other side, Jianwu Shuang's figure appeared out of thin air, and his aura was slightly weakened. Apparently, the old woman's attack had not hurt him at all. Time-space teleportation? The old woman looked at Jianwu Shuang again. We'll know that senior strength is unfathomable. In a head-on fight, even if 10 of me are tied together, I'm definitely not your match. But I'm afraid it won't be so easy for you to kill me. Jianwu Shuang also looked at the old woman. Their eyes met in the void, and for a moment, the space completely froze. The old woman was still as calm as an ancient well. She said indifferently, the space-time divine art created by the Temporal Temple Master is indeed extraordinary. Among them, the space-time teleportation is the strongest life-saving technique in the divine beginning realm. However, although the space-time teleportation is amazing, as long as we can use the space-time imprisonment, we can't use it. I don't know how to use space-time imprisonment, but I happen to have a special treasure. As long as an expert who specializes in space-time principles is able to use it, it won't be difficult for me to use it. Longyu, the principles you control contain space-time principles. They'll give you this jade ring and you can use space-time imprisonment. The old woman waved her hand and threw a purple jade ring at Longyu. Seeing this, Jianwu Shuang's pupils constricted slightly, but he immediately relaxed. Senior, Even if you want Valley Master Long Yu to use the Jade Ring to confine time and space, I'm afraid you won't be able to stop me from leaving, right? Jian Wushuang smiled and flipped his hand, and a purple gold token that emitted a strong power of time and space appeared in his hand. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. At the sight of the purple gold token, the old woman was finally moved. Heaven painting golden flag? Yes, it's the golden sky painting flag. But I wonder if the jade ring given by Senior can be compared to the one in my hand? Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. The golden sky painting flag is a top-notch treasure in spacetime. It's very difficult to find a treasure in spacetime that is higher than the golden sky painting flag in the entire divine beginning realm. It's not something that my jade ring can compare to. I just didn't expect that the Temporal Temple Master would give the golden sky painting flag to you. It seems that the Temporal Temple Master values you very much, the old woman said. Senior, since you know about the Golden Banner, you should know that with my knowledge of spacetime principles and the Mansion Master of the Golden Banner, I can easily break the spacetime restriction. However, you still can't keep me here, Jian Wushuang said. That's right. The old woman nodded slightly. The moment she saw the Golden Banner, she knew that it was impossible for her to kill Jian Wushuang here, even though she was extremely powerful. Senior, you can't kill me, but I can easily kill people from the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, such as Master Zhu Xin and Han Xin in the Scarlet Tower. As long as I use my mind, they will die. So, I hope you can consider what I said before. Jian Wushuang looked at the old woman. Young friend, are you threatening me? The old woman asked coldly. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded and admitted, perhaps my wife is too important to the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, and you are not willing to make concessions for Master Zhu Xin and Han Xin. According to Master Zhu Xin and Han Xin, this is just the beginning. If you don't agree, I will stand guard outside the valley from now on. I will kill any expert or disciple who dares to take a step out of the valley. No matter how long it takes, 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, unless I die, don't even think about stepping out of the valley. Jian Wushuang's killing intent was fierce, and his cold voice reverberated in the air like the voice of the Grim Reaper. Hearing Jian Wushuang's words, the principal's masters of the valley were instantly enraged. The weathered old woman's face also turned cold. However, no matter how angry they were, they had to carefully consider the threat that Jian Wushuang had mentioned. It was true that they could not kill Jian Wushuang. Even if their old master appeared personally, Jian Wushuang could easily escape by using time-space teleportation. If Jian Wushuang did not die with his battle strength, if he stayed in Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley from now on and killed anyone he saw outside, the consequences would be too much for them to bear. They knew that Jian Wushuang was from the Temporal Temple, but they could not threaten him like Jian Wushuang did. The Temporal Temple was not only powerful but also very mysterious. They were too mysterious. Everyone in the Divine Beginning Realm knew that the Temporal Temple was terrifying, but so far no one knew where it was. If they did not even know where the Temporal Temple's lair was, how could the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley retaliate against Jian Wushuang? Chapter 3382. Compromise. The vast void had completely frozen. The whole world was silent. The old woman's eyes were fixed on Jian Wushuang. She did not speak for a long time. As for the principal's masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, no one dared to say anything. After a long while, the weathered old woman's expression changed slightly and she said, I have lived for so many years, but this is the first time someone dares to threaten me in front of me. I have to say that you are very courageous. Senior, please forgive me. I would never dare to be disrespectful to you unless I had no choice, Jian Wushuang said. Can see that you are very stubborn. In that case, I will allow you to meet her, the weathered old woman said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was overjoyed. The principal's masters in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley changed their expressions slightly, but they did not say anything. They also knew that their old master could not do anything to Jian Wushuang and could only make some concessions. My friend, follow me to the valley. The old woman's voice became gentle again. Jian Wushuang nodded and felt slightly relieved. The atmosphere around them had finally calmed down. Heavenly Sword Marquis, are you really going to follow her to the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley? Demon Master Chenhua came to Jian Wushuang's side and asked carefully. Or what? Jian Wushuang glanced at Demon Master Chenhua. Can go, but I have to be careful. This old monster has unfathomable means and seldom contacts with the outside world. No one knows her temper. If you threaten her in front of so many people, who knows whether she will hold a grudge against you. Demon Master Chenhua secretly sent a voice transmission. Now that we're outside Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, she can't do anything to you. However, once we're in Supreme Emotion Valley, there are many restrictive spells there. Even if you have a strong life-saving ability, this old monster might be able to kill you. When that time comes, I don't think so. Before Demon Master Chenhua finished his words, Jian Wushuang waved his hand. The old Valley Master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has a high prestige in the Divine Beginning realm. She should pay attention to her status, so the possibility of her going back on her word is very low. Moreover, even if she does go back on her word and try to kill me with the help of some restrictions in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, I won't be afraid. Jian Wushuang had enough confidence. With his current life-saving means and the life-saving command token given by Temporal Temple Master, even 3 Saint Realm Masters of the 3 Saint Realms would not be able to do anything to him. As for the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, even if it was a dragon's den or a tiger's den, it would not be able to threaten his life. Let's go. Without hesitation, Jian Wushuang followed the old woman into the valley. Previously, when Jian Wushuang came to the valley, he was refused entry. But this time, because of the personal guidance of Longyu and the others, he was not hindered at all. After entering the valley, Jian Wushuang also looked at the scene in the valley. As the overlord of the second heaven and a top sect in the Divine Beginning realm, the valley was not as magnificent as he had imagined. Instead, it was quiet and peaceful. There were many buildings in the valley, most of them were elegant. Under the guidance of the old woman, Jian Wushuang soon arrived in front of a huge mountain. This huge mountain was located in a very special geographical position. It was in the center of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, and the entire mountain was covered by a special restriction, which clearly isolated the mountain completely. My friend, you are now looking at the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley's Love Valley, which is where I live. The person you are looking for also lives in this mountain. Now I can take you into the Love Valley, but only you. As for your friend, Chenhua, please wait here for a while, the old woman said. Oh. Jian Wushuang frowned. He was the only one allowed to enter the mountain, and Chenhua had to wait outside? Humph, Heavenly Sword Marquis, I'm afraid you don't know the rules of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. The mountain in front of you is a forbidden area of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. No one is allowed to enter it. Even as the current Valley Master, I have to inform the old Master in advance if I want to enter, let alone an outsider like you. I can only enter after the old Master agrees. Longyu snorted. Is that so? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. According to Longyu, he, the current Valley Master of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, was not qualified to enter and leave Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley at will. Now that the old woman was willing to take him in, it was already a great favor to him. Chenhua, wait for me here, Jian Wushuang instructed. Well, be careful. Demon Master Chenhua nodded. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. My young friend, follow me in. The old woman waved her hand, and a space passage appeared in front of them. The old woman led Jian Wushuang into the space passage. After walking out of the space passage, they arrived at the mountainside. Under the guidance of the old woman, Jian Wushuang came to a cave mansion in the middle of the mountain. My friend, the person you want to see is in this cave mansion, the old woman said. Jian Wushuang immediately looked into the cave mansion. Although the cave mansion was very deep, Jian Wushuang could still sense the figure in the deepest part of the cave mansion. Shuang-er. The familiar aura and feeling made Jian Wushuang's body and heart tremble. However, just as Jian Wushuang was about to step into the cave mansion, the old woman reached out and stopped him. My friend, you can't enter the cave mansion, the old woman said. Why? Jian Wushuang frowned and his voice sounded urgent. Although I promised to let you meet her, I didn't promise to let you have any contact with her, the old woman said. Senior. Jian Wushuang's face darkened, and there was a trace of anger in his eyes. He wanted to meet Leng Rushuang, so how could he just give her a simple look? He noticed the change in Jian Wushuang's expression. The old woman smiled bitterly and said, My friend, it's not that I'm unreasonable, but my disciple is in a critical period of cultivation. At this time, she must not be disturbed by anyone. A critical period of cultivation? Is it to cultivate that divine skill? Jian Wushuang glanced at the old woman. If she completely cultivates it, won't she completely abandon her emotions? I won't be able to recover her previous lives' memories in the future. Chapter 3383, The Best of Both Worlds, It's True. The old woman also nodded in acknowledgement. Once you have successfully cultivated the supreme divine skill of our supreme emotion-forgetting valley, you will abandon all feelings between men and women. Even if you have restored her memory of her previous life, her feelings will still be abandoned. However, the supreme divine skill is extraordinary. It's not easy to master it. What do you mean? Jian Wushuang asked in a deep voice. My friend, you should know that the supreme divine skill can only be cultivated by someone with a pure heart who has not been influenced by the secular world. Because of this, it is difficult for the supreme emotion-forgetting valley to find a suitable person for cultivation. The girl in the cave mansion has lived 2 lives. If it was just this one life, it would definitely be the best choice to cultivate the divine skill. However, because she still carries the memories of her previous life, she will be greatly hindered in cultivating the divine skill. The old woman's voice became serious. When the girl was brought to the supreme emotion-forgetting valley and brought to me, I found that she was very special. Although she had lived 2 lifetimes, she had 2 lifetimes of memories, but the memories of her previous life had been suppressed or even sealed. Sealed? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Indeed. The old woman continued, I carefully examined her body and finally came to the conclusion that the expert must have forcibly injected a part of the will power into her body when she reincarnated. This portion of the power of will should have originated from a principal's master. Moreover, under that expert's methods, the power of this will has been completely erased from that principal's master's will. What it possesses is only some understanding and comprehension regarding the principles. For anyone to have such power of will remain in their body is simply a great fortune. After all, the power of will can only be acquired after mastering a complete set of principles. With a complete set of power of will in his body, it means that even if he doesn't cultivate, he can still become a principle's master in a short period of time as long as he slowly transmits the power of will in his body. Upon hearing this, Jian Wushuang's pupils constricted. He immediately recalled that when he met Leng Rushuang in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow, she was known as the most powerful genius in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow. She was even more dazzling than him because at that time, even if Leng Rushuang did not cultivate, her comprehension of the principles could be improved at an incredible speed. It was as easy as eating and drinking. At that time Jian Wushuang thought it was incredible. But now he finally understood. The master that the old valley master mentioned should be master, right? Jian Wushuang muttered in his heart. He could guess that his master Xin Yi was also worried that Leng Rushuang would not be able to grow after coming to the divine beginning realm because she did not have Jian Wushuang's great talent advantage. She might even die before Jian Wushuang found her. He had met with some kind of threat and died. That was why his master had used a great method to forcefully bestow a portion of the power of will on Leng Rushuang. It could be considered as giving Leng Rushuang some support so that she could wait for Jian Wushuang's arrival. Jian Wushuang could completely understand his master's action. That expert's method is indeed heaven-defying, forcibly bestowing a portion of the power of will on a reincarnated soul without damaging it at all. Such a method is beyond my reach. The old woman sighed softly. However, that expert might not have thought of it himself. Although the power of will did not harm the soul because it contained too many things and was too vast, it completely suppressed or even sealed the memories of the reincarnated soul. Therefore, after the baby was born, it did not immediately recover the memories of its previous life. Is that so? Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows. He had never understood why Leng Rushuang did not have any memories of his previous life when he entered the reincarnation passage with her. It turned out that Leng Rushuang did not have any memories. It was just that her memories of her previous life had been sealed because of the power of her will. Naturally, she could not remember them. Of course, although the girl's memories from her previous life were sealed, as long as the principal's master appeared, she could easily suppress the power of the will in her body temporarily and help her recover the memories from her previous life, the old woman said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was delighted. Obviously, if he wanted to recover Leng Rushuang's memories, it would be very easy. After knowing this, I'm not sure if she can continue to cultivate that divine skill, but I still let her start to cultivate that divine skill with the attitude of giving it a try. The result of the cultivation was unexpectedly out of my expectations. She was not affected by the memories of her previous life at all. Her cultivation speed is very amazing, much faster than when I first cultivated it. After that, I understood that as long as I completely sealed the girl's past memories, she would definitely be able to master the divine skill and even cultivate it to the highest level, much higher than my level. Therefore, I personally set up a seal in her body to ensure that her past memories could no longer recover on their own. Senior. Jian Wushuang was shocked and angry. My young friend, don't worry. The old woman comforted Jianghu Shuang. Before I met you, I didn't want to restore her memory from her previous life. I even thought about whether it was possible to completely erase her memory from her previous life. However, after meeting you, I changed my mind. Can't help it. Your talent is unparalleled and your potential is so great that no one in the divine beginning realm can compare to you. In the future, you might really reach a level that no one in the divine beginning realm has ever reached. I, the supreme emotion forgetting valley, naturally don't want to offend you too much. Therefore, I can take a step back and choose a way to achieve the best of both worlds. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. What is it? Jianghu Shuang immediately looked over. Soul peeling. The old woman laughed. Soul peeling. Jianghu Shuang was shocked. Of course, he understood what the old woman meant by soul peeling. It was forcibly turning one soul into two souls or one person into two people. Such a method was not easy to accomplish. The slightest carelessness could lead to the complete annihilation of the soul. Senior, are you planning to separate her past life and present life into two people through soul peeling? Jianghu Shuang looked at the old woman. Chapter 3384, Soul Peeling. That's it. The old woman said seriously, soul peeling is to turn this girl's soul into two pieces. One of them will carry her memories from her previous life, and you will take it with you. The other piece will carry her memories from this life, and she will continue to stay in my supreme emotion-forgetting valley to cultivate that supreme divine art. This way, the good thing is that you can have the best of both worlds. After all, you only want your wife from your previous life. As for the bad thing, once you peel off her soul, the two parts of her soul will not be complete. Thus, you will need some treasures related to the soul to completely restore her soul. The requirements for such a soul treasure are extremely high. In the divine beginning realm, the only thing that can fulfill this condition is the soul treasure, the star moon agarwood. Moreover, it must be 100 million years old. The star moon agarwood is an extremely rare treasure. In the divine beginning realm, it can even be said to be extinct. This kind of treasure lives in an extremely harsh environment. It's hard to even exist for 1,000,000 years. Thus, it's even harder to obtain 100 million years old star moon agarwood. However, my supreme emotion-forgetting valley once obtained a small piece of 100 million years old star moon agarwood by chance. It can be used on the soul that was left in my supreme emotion-forgetting valley after it was peeled off, allowing it to completely recover. As for the part of the soul that retained your wife's memories, you'll have to think of a way yourself. Of course, since our supreme emotion-forgetting valley has a piece of 100 million year old star moon agarwood, and as the most ancient and mysterious temporal temple of the three freedom alliances in the divine beginning realm, we should have it. Even if we don't have it, we can definitely find a way to get it. After saying that, the old woman looked at Jianghu Shuang again. At this moment, Jianghu Shuang was silent. Soul peeling. Jianghu Shuang had some understanding of soul peeling and knew the advantages and disadvantages of soul peeling. Most importantly, his wife, Lung Ru Shuang, had actually carried out soul peeling in her previous life. Because of her special physique, her wife's soul was divided into two parts. One part of her personality became Lung Ru Shuang, and the other part was the evil incarnation of her physique, Lung Ru Shue. The two souls occupied the same body. At first, Lung Ru Shuang was in charge, but later Lung Rushuang's soul consciousness was suppressed and led by Lung Ru Shue. In the end, their souls were completely separated. Lung Ru Shue followed her master into the divine beginning realm, while Lung Ru Shuang entered the reincarnation passage like Jianghu Shuang. In other words, Lung Ru Shuang had stripped her soul before, and she had already borne the price. Senior, if her soul is stripped in two, who will be in charge of her body now? Jianghu Shuang asked. Of course, the soul left in the supreme emotion-forgetting valley, which is my disciple, will be in charge. The old woman said seriously, I can't help it. The supreme emotion-forgetting valley has spent a lot of money to nurture this girl. Now that she has finally reached this level, she is very close to the top of the supreme divine skill. At this moment, I won't let her give up this body and start over. Jianghu Shuang's face darkened. He knew that the soul stripping was actually tolerable for Lung Ru Shuang. The key question was who would control her current body once the soul was stripped. Of course, Jianghu Shuang hoped that his wife could control this body, but the supreme emotion-forgetting valley obviously would not allow it. Jianghu Shuang could understand. After all, the supreme emotion-forgetting valley had indeed paid too much for her to cultivate the supreme divine skill. If she let the soul with the memories of this life leave this body, then she would have to start all over again. It was absolutely unbearable for the supreme emotion-forgetting valley. Heavenly Sword Marquis, you may not know this, but I will soon die, the old woman suddenly said. What? Jian Wushuang looked at her in surprise. The Old Valley Master of the Supreme Emotion Valley, a task that even the three masters of the Saint Realm, including the Temporal Temple Master, were afraid of, would soon die? Was this a joke? I am not lying to you, the old woman said solemnly. The supreme divine skill of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley is very special. Although it's extremely powerful and can allow me, who was only at the 6th realm of the Void Realm, to burst out with battle strength comparable to that of a master, or even stronger than an ordinary master, it's so powerful that I have to pay a price every time I use it. What's the price? Jian Wushuang asked immediately. Lifespan. The old woman sighed, she continued. Under normal circumstances, when a cultivator reaches the level of a principal's master, their lifespan may not be endless, but it's also very long. However, no matter who it is, as long as they cultivate the divine skill of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, there's no such thing as an endless lifespan. They've personally experienced it. For example, when I cultivate the divine skill to this level, my lifespan can only last for 1 billion years at most. 1 billion years is considered very long. Senior's lifespan should be far from 1 billion years, right? Jian Wushuang asked. Although he did not know how long the Old Valley Master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley had lived, as far as he knew, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley had existed in the Divine Beginning Realm for less than 1 billion years. Just based on the time I've lived, this old body is still far from 1 billion years. However, this old body has just said that these 1 billion years of life is just the threshold to cultivate that divine technique. After cultivating, every time I use it, it will consume my life. Under normal circumstances, every time this old body uses that divine technique, it will consume 100 million years of life. They've been staying in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley ever since I started cultivating that divine skill. During that time, the valley had encountered many dangers, so I had to use all my strength. I have used that divine skill many times, and my lifespan has been continuously consumed. So far, I have less than 100 million years left. Less than 100 million years? Does that mean? Jian Wushuang's pupils constricted. Yes, if I use that divine skill one more time, I will die immediately. So, even if you disrespect me today and threaten me in front of me, I have not completely shed all pretense of cordiality with you. Although this is also because of your strong life-saving skills, more importantly, I don't want to give you this last chance to use the divine skill, the old woman said. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly and sighed in his heart. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. He had thought that the Old Valley Master was really helpless against him, so he had to step back. But now it seemed that was not the case. Chapter 3385. The Enemy of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. They've less than 100 million years left, and I can only use the divine skill once more. I don't want to use it unless I have no other choice, because once I use it, my death is nothing. The key is that the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has lost my intimidation. I'm afraid that it will be destroyed soon, the old woman said. Destroyed? Senior, you can't be that serious, right? Jian Wushuang frowned. No matter what, the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley is an overlord in the second heaven. It has more than 10 principals masters under it, and it has a huge foundation. Such a powerful sect, even if it loses your intimidation, will not be as fearful as before. However, once the sect forces come, they will not easily provoke the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, right? Jian Wushuang was very confused. Because in his opinion, even if the Old Valley Master did not exist in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, with an expert of the 6 Void Realms like Master Gorsch in the foundation of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, he was still far stronger than a force like the Xiaoyao Mansion. How could such an overlord be easily destroyed without any reason? Little friend, although our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley appears to be glorious on the surface, and because of me, no one has dared to provoke us for a long time. In fact, there are many hidden dangers in our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, especially in terms of enemies. Our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has a great enemy, the weathered old woman said. Great enemy? Jian Wushuang was startled. The Destruction Saint Realm, one of the 3 Saint Realms, is a great enemy of our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, the weathered old woman said in a low voice. Many years ago, our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley offended the Destruction Saint Realm because of some conflicts of interest. Later, in the universe battlefield, I completely offended the Destruction Saint Realm. The universe battlefield? Jian Wushuang's expression changed. Yes, it was in the universe battlefield that I obtained the supreme divine skill. However, the three principles masters of the Saint Destruction realm fought with me at the same time. When they saw that I had obtained the divine skill, they immediately tried to snatch it. Unfortunately, they were not strong enough. Not only did they fail to snatch the divine skill from me, but they were also killed by me on the spot. The old woman sneered. However, because of this matter, Destruction Saint Realm was furious. However, because I had never been to the divine beginning realm or touched the secular world, Destruction Saint Realm couldn't figure out my true identity for a while. It wasn't until a lucky coincidence that they found out that I was from the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. After they found out, Destruction Saint Realm immediately sent a large number of experts over. Even Destruction Saint Master's consciousness appeared. However, after they found out my true identity, I had already mastered that divine art and cultivated it to a certain level. That's why I directly attacked the Destruction Saint Realm experts and repelled them head-on. Even the Destruction Saint Realm Master's consciousness was torn to shreds on the spot. At this point, the vicissitudes of life revealed a cold smile. After that battle, my name naturally shook the world. Destruction Saint Realm did not know my actual strength, so they did not continue to fight. After that, our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley and Destruction Saint Realm had several clashes. I also fought with Destruction Saint Master's original body several times, but each time I used the divine skill, Destruction Saint Master could only escape in a sorry state. After a few lessons, Destruction Saint Master finally calmed down. After so many years, he did not dare to have a large-scale collision with our Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Is that so? Jian Wushuang finally understood. He finally understood why the old Valley Master had said that the Destruction Saint Realm was a great enemy of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Indeed, the three Saint Realms are the rulers of the Divine Beginning Realm because of the power of the will of heaven. To a certain extent, even the three Freedom Alliances are at a disadvantage against the three Saint Realms. Because of this, the three Saint Realms have always been overbearing, and they have always treated the sects of the Divine Beginning Realm as if they were kings and subjects. In the Divine Beginning Realm, if any sect dares to be disrespectful to the three Saint Realms, the three Saint Realms will immediately punish them. The sects cannot afford any punishment, and the Amethyst Demon sect was completely destroyed. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley has fought with the Destruction Saint Realm several times, but the latter didn't gain any advantage. Moreover, the Destruction Saint Master has suffered a few losses at your hands. The Destruction Saint Master will definitely hold a grudge. It's fine for you to stay in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley for now, but once you die, the Destruction Saint Realm might directly attack the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, Jian Wushuang said seriously. That's exactly what I think. The old woman said, so before I die, I must do everything for the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley to cultivate a person who can cultivate the divine skill to the top level. The girl in the cave mansion can be said to be my last hope. The progress of the girl is very smooth, but now with your unexpected change. They've no choice but to find a way to get the best of both worlds by stripping her soul. However, after stripping her soul, her body must remain in the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. This is my bottom line. Otherwise, I don't have the confidence to let her start over and cultivate to the top level again in the remaining time. After saying that, the old woman looked at Jian Wushuang. Her eyes opened slightly, and there was a hint of pleading in them. Obviously, the old Valley Master had made a final concession. She hoped that Jian Wushuang would understand, but she accepted it if he did not. Senior, I understand what you said. But if I take my wife's soul and leave, how can I make her recover completely? Jian Wushuang asked. He knew a little about soul stripping, but he did not know how to find a new body and restore it to its original state. It's not difficult. First, you have to get the Star Moon Agarwood and make your wife's soul complete. Then you can choose two methods to make your wife recover, the old woman explained. First, the first method is for you to find a suitable body. Then, you can invite an expert who specializes in souls to help your wife's soul enter that body directly and possess it. You can completely wipe out the original consciousness of that body and let your wife occupy it. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. This method is the simplest, but it has many flaws. Chapter 3386. Risks. After all, it's forcefully taking over the other party's body. There must be a lot of initial forays into your own body. Although the consciousness of the owner of that body will be completely wiped out, there will more or less remain some things of the other party. It will have a certain impact on your wife's consciousness, and it will be possible for your wife to make some changes. In addition, if the person your wife possessed was only an ordinary person or some weaker cultivators, it would be slightly better to be able to control them. However, if the person who possessed was quite powerful, for example, to possess a principal's master, then even if this principal's master's consciousness was wiped out, the power in his body was not something that your wife's consciousness could control. The slightest carelessness could result in unimaginable consequences. These are the risks that must be borne by forcibly possessing a soul, the old woman said. Tay also heard of soul possession. Not only is it very risky, but it's also too vicious. Even if my wife's soul is stripped, she wouldn't choose to use this method to choose a body that doesn't belong to her, Jian Wushuang said. If you don't want to rely on soul possession, you can only rely on treasures to create a new body for your wife, the old woman said. How? Jian Wushuang asked. To create a new body that is exactly the same as your wife's divine body without any discomfort or incipient experience, ordinary treasures won't work. As far as I know, there is a special treasure in the world called the Ice Heart Glazed Jade. This treasure can create a glazed body according to the wishes of the cultivator. The glazed body will be completely integrated with the cultivator's soul consciousness without any flaws or risks. As long as you can get the glazed ice jade, you can create a perfect body for your wife, which is exactly the same as her original body. Moreover, this glazed body is exactly the same as a human cultivator, the old woman said. If one am not wrong, it shouldn't be easy to get a treasure like the glazed ice jade, right? Jian Wushuang looked at her. Yes. The old woman nodded. The Ice Heart Glazed Jade is much rarer than the 100-million-year-old Star Moon Agarwood that I mentioned before. If you can find some 100-million-year-old Star Moon Agarwood in the Divine Beginning realm, and you might have it in the Temporal Temple, then the Ice Heart Glazed Jade is almost impossible to find in the Divine Beginning realm. Even if the Temporal Temple has accumulated wealth over countless years, I'm afraid it won't be able to find the Ice Heart Glazed Jade. Of course, there might not be any in the Temporal Temple, but they should have a way to find him. After all, I've heard that someone came back from the universe battlefield with a big piece of Ice Heart Glazed Jade. You can ask the Temporal Temple to find him for you. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang fell silent. After a while, Jian Wushuang looked up again and asked, Senior, is what you said true? Of course I won't lie to you. The old woman smiled. If you don't believe me, you can ask the experts of the Temporal Temple. With their knowledge, they should know whether what I said is true or not. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He also understood that the old Valley Master would not lie to him. Even if she wanted to lie, Jian Wushuang was not stupid. He could see it or ask someone. Senior, I am not a tactless person. As long as I can ensure that my wife's soul will not be affected and that I can find the Ice Heart Glazed Jade to help my wife recover, I will agree to the soul stripping, Jian Wushuang said. He knew very well that the old Valley Master had already made a big concession and told him some secrets of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, especially that the old Valley Master's lifespan was less than 100 million years. Once he used the divine skill again, he would die immediately. This was definitely a big secret. In order to convince him, the old Valley Master had told him his biggest secret. However, the old Valley Master had no choice but to make his biggest concession. Under such circumstances, Jian Wushuang could not be so tough all the time, but he had to make some concessions. Now, his concession was to give up his wife's body in this life, take away her soul and the memories of her previous life, and find Bing Xeng Glazed Jade to help his wife recover her body in the future. Although the process was a little troublesome, it was better than the current stalemate with Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley, which made both sides unhappy. Moreover, with Jian Wushuang's current strength, it was already the limit for him to force the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley to make such a concession. After all, he was only in the Saint realm, and his strength was only in the Fourth Void realm. The reason why he was able to make the Old Valley Master give in was because the Old Valley Master was worried about the disciples and experts of the Supreme Emotion-Forgetting Valley. He could only use the divine skill once. However, if the Old Valley Master was unwilling to give in, Jian Wushuang did not have much choice. After all, he could only kill the disciples of the experts outside the valley. However, if the valley made a move, it would seal the mountain and isolate itself from the outside world for hundreds of years. When Leng Rushuang reached a high level of the divine skill, Jian Wushuang would never be able to find his wife again. On this basis, he finally made a compromise. It's great that you can understand the current situation of the valley. However, there is still a problem to be solved, the old woman said. What problem? Jian Wushuang asked. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website myboxnovel.com. Thanks. The problem is how to peel off the soul, the old woman said seriously. The soul is the foundation of a cultivator. It's easy for me to peel off a person's soul and turn it into two souls. However, it's very difficult to peel off the two souls without causing any damage. After all, although I have studied the Tao of the soul, my attainments in the aspect of the soul are not that great. If I were to peel off the soul alone, it is very likely that I would cause great damage to the girl's soul during the process. If I am not careful, her soul might even collapse. Therefore, it is best if we can invite an expert who is extremely skilled in the aspect of the soul to work with me to peel off her soul. Chapter 3387. Agreed, there are many experts in the divine beginning realm who are good at soul manipulation, but there are almost no experts who are absolutely confident in soul peeling and won't cause any harm to the two souls. However, under normal circumstances, as long as an expert in the sixth realm of the void realm who is especially good at soul works with me, I'm at least 90% sure that I won't harm the girl in the process of soul peeling, said the old woman. An expert of the sixth realm of the void who specializes in the soul? Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. It was not easy to find such an expert. It must be known that there were too few experts of the sixth realm of the void in the divine beginning realm. If the experts of the sixth realm of the void who roamed the universe battlefield and stayed in the divine beginning realm all year round were excluded, there were probably no more than 20 of them. Among the less than 20 experts, there were even fewer who specialized in the soul. I know someone. Not only has she reached the sixth realm of the void realm, but her attainments in the soul are also extremely high. It's not an exaggeration to say that she's the #1 expert in the divine beginning realm. Moreover, she has some friendship with me. I can think of a way to find her, the old woman said. Oh. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. Please contact her immediately. Don't worry. The old woman waved her hand. As far as I know, this person has been in closed-door cultivation for a very important time. She didn't even pay attention to her children who wanted to see her. I can't contact her at the moment. However, as soon as she comes out, I will tell her about it and ask her to help. Thank you, Senior, Jian Wushuang said. By the way, although I know you are the old Valley Master of the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, I still don't know your name, Tam Mai, the old woman said. Mai? Jian Wushuang was stunned. This name was very strange. It was not her real name but something like a nickname. My friend, since you and I have agreed, let's leave now, Mai said. Jian Wushuang looked deeply into the depths of the cave mansion and nodded slightly. Soon Jian Wushuang and Mai walked out of Love Valley. Outside Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, Demon Master Chenhua and many principals masters of Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley were still waiting quietly. When Jian Wushuang and Mai walked out of the peak, they immediately came forward to greet them. Heavenly Sword Marquis, how is it? Did that old monster make things difficult for you? Demon Master Chenhua asked. Is going well. I've already negotiated with Senior Mai and made some concessions. The final result is acceptable to both of us, Jian Wushuang said. Agreed? Demon Master Chenhua's expression changed. He did not know what Jian Wushuang and the old woman Mai had talked about, but he did not continue to ask when he saw Jian Wushuang's expression. On the other side, Mai did not tell Longyu, Master Gorsch and the others about the agreement with Jian Wushuang. Instead, he continued to look at Jian Wushuang. My friend, I'm afraid it will take some time for my friend to go into seclusion. If you don't mind, you can stay in my Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. If you have other things to do, you can leave first. When my friend comes out of seclusion, I will send a message to you. This is my message token, keep it well. Mai handed his message token to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang took the token and pondered for a moment, then he said, most of the female disciples in the valley are female. It would be inconvenient for Chenhua and I to stay here for a long time, so we'd better leave first. When you have a result, you can send me a message. To send you off. But before you leave, I hope you can release Zhu Xian and Han Xian, Mai said with a smile. Of course. Jian Wushuang smiled. With a flip of his palm, the blood-red tower appeared in his hand again. With a thought, he immediately released Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian, who were suppressed in the tower. Senior Mai and everyone from Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley, thank you for your trouble today. There are a lot of resources in this interspatial ring. I apologize to Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley. Goodbye. Jian Wushuang threw an interspatial ring at the Longyu, then he turned around and left with Demon Master Chenhua. After taking the interspatial ring and seeing Jian Wushuang and Demon Master Chenhua completely disappear in front of them, everyone from Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley heaved a sigh of relief. If you have problems with this website, please continue reading your novel on our new website MyBox Novel. Thanks. Although the encounter with Jian Wushuang had caused the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley to lose many disciples, Most of them were only at the saint level, which was still within the acceptable range of the Supreme Emotion Valley. Moreover, Jian Wushuang had also taken out the interspatial ring as an apology in terms of face. The Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley had already gotten over it, so they naturally did not plan to pursue the matter any further. However, if Jian Wushuang had killed both Master Zhu Xian and Han Xian, the matter would not have been resolved so easily. Once the matter was resolved, the valley quickly regained its peace. The old woman, Mai Yi, returned to the mountain and continued to guide Leng Rushuang in her cultivation. Jian Wushuang immediately took out his messaging token and asked Temple Master Bai Xing after leaving the Supreme Emotion Forgetting Valley with Demon Master Chenhua. He naturally asked about some things related to soul peeling. Although he believed in what Mai Yi had said in the valley, he still carefully asked Temple Master Bai Xing about it. Temple Master Bai Xing was knowledgeable and answered all of them. The answer he got was almost the same as what Mai Yi had said. First of all, as long as the soul was peeled off and stored on the 100-million-year-old star moon Agarwood, the soul could be restored completely without any damage or defects. As for the 100-million-year-old star moon Agarwood, there were indeed some in the temporal temple that could be used. Then there was the matter of the recovery of the body after the soul was peeled off. Without a doubt, it was the best and most flawless choice to use the Iceheart glazed jade to build a glazed body. However, who exactly had the Iceheart glazed jade? The temporal temple also spent some time to investigate. Finally, there was an expert of the sixth realm in the void who was good at soul. The temporal temple also gave him one. However, this expert came from the Divine Ancestor Taoist sect and was in the user's temporal temple. There was no expert of the six void realms who specialized in the soul. After receiving Temple Master Bai Xing's reply, Jian Wushuang felt more or less at ease. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.